So anyway, we're all here, and we're gonna talk about first. We're gonna talk about Doctor Strange, and then we're probably gonna ramble about random shit like we normally do. But
Yeah, I do kind of want to
Sounds
talk
good.
about the Transformer trailer,
ugh,
just a little bit.
ugh, why do we have to
Yeah,
put
Just,
ourselves
we
through
I
that?
just
do.
want to. There's a
We
couple of
do.
things
Because
that.
they made it.
Yeah, basically.
It's painful though, man.
Oh, it
God, it's
is.
so
Oh
painful.
yes, it totally is.
But
Yeah.
so okay, first off, you actually saw it, so we can actually we can actually talk about it in full. In full. So I'll let you start. What do you think about Doctor Strange in general?
I, uh, I liked it. I really did. I thought, like, story was good. Again, I'm not super familiar with, Doctor Strange and comics, regardless of what version or what, you know, uh, time frame of Marvel printing you're talking about.
Yeah.
But as a story, as a standalone story, I dug it. It was interesting. Thought it was well acted. Thought the effects were absolutely amazing.
God, the
Um,
effects were
like,
insane. Insane. I couldn't believe it. I actually saw somebody on Facebook say it was the most boring movie they ever saw,
Oh
and I'm
man, they
like,
can eat a dick.
I
Eat a BBC.
couldn't believe it. I know some like King Kong Johnson, like King Kong.
Monsters.
I know, right? Monsters. Yeah, I don't know. The effects were insane. Like Phil and I were both just cracking up. Like this must be what tripping feels like.
Yeah.
Because man, the some of those effects, you're just like, what is going on? Even though you get it, it's like
Or
how?
how one thing would kind of bleed into the next
Yeah.
thing.
Like how the fuck?
yeah,
Like shit was
it's
awesome.
like how did Jay storyboard or write that?
Exactly.
That when she opened his eye, his third eye, basically, it's like
Yeah.
open your mind. And then homeboy was gone. He was everywhere and nowhere and still here at the same time.
Yeah, the shit was awesome. It really got the points across. My one gripe, though, I will say that the one thing I didn't like was the ancient one uses the dark dimension to she draws power from the dark dimension, and that was like the shit breaking moment. I was like, of course that would
They
be the
gotta
shit
give
breaking moment.
they gotta give you a good reason to justify her not being there now. It's like,
Killing her
it's
off.
like, oh well, eventually Doctor Strange has to beat Sorcerer Supreme, so something's got to happen to the old Sorcerer Supreme
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, and I mean, it kind of. I mean, I guess for all the praise, it still followed that like kind of generic, dude from another culture comes to the new culture and then is better at the culture than those who live the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
don't know if there was any other way
yeah.
you could get around it because that's basically
That's
the
his plot.
story.
Yeah, that
that's
is his
the
plot.
story of the comic.
So that's the one failing because it was written back in the day when that was the common
Thing
way
to
you
do,
do
yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you, man. Like the shit was nuts. What was your favorite thing?
The Scott Adkins was a nice surprise.
Yeah, but then
I think
they never use him.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was in it. I was gonna say the astral fight between him and is kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're in the hospital and like they're freaking like jumping through
the
all the hospital and like Adams is like trying to save or Christine is trying to save him.
Yeah.
And then like is looking around every so often when something moves.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, the chase scene I thought was pretty dope too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chase scene was also freaking awesome.
And just some of the ways they came up with some of the magical ideas, like the sling ring and the boots that allowed him to Chiwetel to like jump around and stuff. It was like stuff I wish I would see in like a wuxia movie.
Yeah, like a good explanation for why the effect was in the movie.
Yeah,
because you see the effect, like people floating and it looks like they're running on the air. You see that all the time in wuxia films, but they never really give you a good explanation. They just say, "Oh, it's Shaolin light skill," or you know what I mean, Lightfoot technique, and you're like, "Come on, guys! Like you got to come up with something better than that. Like it can't just be always that all these people were able to train to the point where they can do this. Otherwise, how the fuck do they lose? That's insane. But yeah, I agree. Continue.
Yeah, Well, even the first scene when they were like bending reality, I guess when the ancient one was chasing Kel- God, what was his name? Caseless
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever. Mads Mikkelsen's character,
yeah,
like that way when she was like bending reality, but plus when the way it looked during the chase was just like absolutely amazing.
yeah. I agree.
Like so, like all of those effects were just awesome.
It was funny that like there was martial arts in the movie, and I
Yeah.
never ever even thought of martial arts in conjunction with Doctor Strange, even though he learned in like Tibet and all that craziness. It's like wow,
Mm,
martial arts and mysticism, like they should be always going hand in hand, but they rarely do. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah, what'd you guys think of what's her name of Tilda Swinton? I mean, she's an awesome actress. I never had a problem with her. Like, if you're gonna pick a white chick to be an Asian character, yeah, you pick her because she could do all of it. I'm glad they didn't make her play a man, but like she could have done that too. What
I
what'd
was
you
gonna
guys
say
think?
she's done that too.
Yeah,
Like, or I guess she was Michael, right? In
Gabriel.
Gabriel and
oh god, what was
Constantine.
that?
Yeah,
Gabriel.
Constantine.
I'm sorry, she was Gabriel.
hmm Yeah, what do you?
But yeah, I was no, she wasn't Asian. No, they said she was Celtic.
Yeah,
So they just flat out said like, no, this is not like this is completely different. This is just another random white person that showed up, was so awesome at this thing that they put her in charge
yeah,
for however long she's actually been alive.
yeah,
And then another awesome white person showed up, and now the story can start proper.
yeah,
I do like. I mean, I like what they did with Wong
yeah. Wong was awesome.
because even in the animated
Yeah,
film, I felt
He had
like,
no personality.
yeah,
He was just the servant.
yeah.
And this, like, literally, he knows what's going on. He was hilarious.
it's like Beyonce. You have to know who she is.
All right, he just pretended like he had no fucking clue. Um, yeah, I like how they did him. I was surprised that like that was the direction they went. It's like they're doing a good job of trimming the fat and then adding character where it's needed. Because there's a lot of characters in the Marvel universe that like their role is so minuscule that like in the books they don't have time to focus on those characters. The story always focuses kind of squarely on the main characters, the main cast. And then now in the films
Mhm.
they're supposed to be real people, so we should at least kind of have an idea of like who this guy is, you know what I'm saying, or who this girl is. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did a good job. They did a real good job. What was your least favorite thing? Yeah, it's all landing on you right now because we're getting to start with you because you got to see the film this time, like relatively close to us seeing it too. So, what'd you like? What'd you hate? What was your least favorite thing in the film, if there was anything?
I don't. I don't know if there was anything I really hated.
Uh,
Even like how they visualized Dormammu. I'm like, all
yeah,
right, that works.
yeah,
Like he's not a giant galactic fart cloud or something like that. Or just like a kid, like
I know,
who's
right? A
all
little kid.
powerful. They didn't take that out either. Like, no, you got the feeling that he was power personified
Yeah,
from his form. Like I like that. Um, I don't think there was anything I really didn't. There was stuff I liked, and I guess stuff that it was good that it was there. I don't know if there was too much that I flat out didn't like.
was there anything close to it close to you not liking?
Mm, I don't. I don't know. Like I said, like I didn't feel like there were no eye roll moments.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I mean, besides the general flow of the story, like but which you have to do. Like, all right, he starts out at a thing, and obviously talented, but sucks at first, and then gets better, and then becomes the bestest.
yeah.
Like, but that's the hero's journey. Like, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So, no,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's
no,
like one of the one time
I was all right. I was at least all right with everything.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
I was. It's like the one movie where you can forgive the mighty whitey trope, like just because of where it came from and all
Yeah.
that. And I think they took an origin story that because we're all tired of origin stories, but like this movie, you actually, I don't know, for me at least, I actually enjoyed this origin story, even though it felt familiar.
Yeah.
They still found ways to keep it feeling fresh, and I mean they pulled it off. I mean, I think the pacing had a lot to do with it, because they've centered just enough on all the beats of his origin that they needed to, and then they got to the stuff that most of us don't know, or most of us, they got to the rest of the story basically.
Yeah. So there's a lot I didn't know. I mean, I remember Doctor Strange from being in a lot of the books we read, like the big event books, like fucking Operation Galactic Storm, Infinity Gauntlet. I remember him in that. I remember him in a ton of Midnight Sun stuff. I remember him in a ton of like team up books where like Spider-Man is fighting so and so, and he needs advice about how to deal with this thing, and I remember that, but I don't remember. Actually, I don't think I've ever bought a Doctor Strange book. I may have gotten it in a trade or something, like somebody traded me a bunch of books, and I had one Doctor Strange book that wasn't special or something, But I don't really. I know of him through his involvement with other characters. I don't really.
Yeah, you know the basics of his origin.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really know the character, and then I know a lot about him based on the animation, which I still say is the best Marvel animation that they've done. Because it just like this had another level of like a grasp on magic. They were like, we're just going to use our imagination and do whatever because magic has no bounds. That's what they did in the movie. You know what I mean? The movie just followed that exact same like precedent that like we're not going to be limited in what we can do via magic because they haven't used magic like that yet in Marvel films. So yeah, I dug that. I can't believe there's people who hate this movie. I cannot believe it. A couple people said it's no Iron Man. It's 1,000% better than Iron Man. Like we're gonna pretend that Iron Man's plot was revolutionary. I don't know. What do you guys think in comparison to the first Iron Man?
I didn't even know people were comparing it to the first.
Yeah, I read a couple of them on Facebook. I was like, "Are you serious? Like right now, you can tell me that another rich guy fucking up and then trying to fix his mistake by using technology that the company that was bequeathed to him from his parents and shit, like that's not been done by like a billion other characters like before. Like, why is that? I don't get it."
But for some reason, that origin tends to resonate with a percentage of at least the internet audience.
I know people with no imagination.
It's like I understand if like you want your heroes to come from a point of pain or start their journey at a low point.
Yeah.
But why is it always, like you said, like rich white guy? I mean, he works for what he has, but he has a lot to work with.
Yeah. Like so much so that if you had all that shit and this tragedy happened to you, it's almost as if nothing happened because you have all the means to fix it. So like I don't understand why this resonates and stands out with people. I mean, I guess they have no imagination, so it makes sense, or little imagination. But like if I had $1 billion and I was a kid and my family dies and that $1 billion is going to be mine, how could I not avenge their death? Like, I could at least hire a hitman to go do it for me. Like, at the very least, I could be like, go get the motherfucker who shot my parents and then bring him to me so I can watch you kill him. Like, and there's movies where that happened. There's stories, novels with these long, intricate webs where that's essentially, the plot. So I don't understand why this is like, people act like that's amazing. That's real. That shit happens in real life. I don't understand. Like, I don't know.
Plus, I mean, you have, with Doctor Strange, you have kind of like the Zen approach. Because here's a guy who had everything, who has all this money, kind of loses it all. I know I was looking at that. But it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But he loses it all, and then he goes overseas, and he realizes all that shit wasn't worth having in the first place. Like, he found his true calling, and he doesn't need any of that shit anymore. Like Batman, Iron Man, they still need the money and all that to function.
Yeah.
Like, Doctor Strange doesn't need any of that shit anymore. He can continue to live his life.
Doctor Strange, originally, it was Doctor Stephen Strange, put all of his faith in himself and his skills. to the point where it was like the only thing that he believed in.
Yep.
He didn't even believe in other doctors on his staff.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I'm the best at this, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one part of the story. I mean, which I assume happened in the comics too. But it's the greatest irony. Hey, yeah, your hands are fucked up.
Yeah.
You know who could fix you? You, but you can't.
Exactly.
Actually, in the comics, that doctor that he was making fun of in the movie, in the comics, he does do the reconstructive surgery on his hands, but he fucks them up on purpose so he can't come back to medicine.
Wow.
Whereas in the movie, he just wasn't a good enough doctor because I guess they were at odds or something like that in the books.
Isn't it weird how like in the comics, a lot of the characterization. I mean, comics are typically kind of like people will say over the top and shit, but in the comics, you get better characterization. Like an asshole is really an asshole. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not unwitting, is it? The guy who doesn't think he can do it, really, like, before Dan Ketch became Ghost Rider, he was kind of a wuss. Like, you're like, this kid couldn't possibly be the main character, but then a situation happens that's fucked up enough to propel him into being Ghost Rider, and he does it. He's like, shit, I'll make a deal with the devil to save my sister. Like, it makes sense, you know? And then in the end, I don't even think he saves his sister, because it was too late by the time he does take Zarathos' help. It's just weird how like they do that, or like what you just said about the dude, you know, fucking up Strange's hands. Imagine if that was a plot point. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Or like in X-Men. I mean, everything in X-Men is better in the comics for the most part. But like when Jean Grey opens up to allow the Phoenix Force to take her, to, you know, to allows to herself to be the host of the Phoenix Force, she's like dead. She's like this the last bit of breath that she has, that she's speaking those words like, yeah, whatever you could do, help me. Her hair fell out, body's all gaunt, she's like burning up in the atmosphere and shit. And then she's like, yeah, help me now. That whole story is more interesting than all 6 X-Men movies that we've managed to get shat out by Fox. And it's the comics, you know? And some of those were written in the 60s. So it's kind of strange how they choose to ignore some of that shit, you know? But it still was good. You know, Doctor Strange was still good. I don't think that would have changed a lot.
No, I don't think so either. I just thought it was kind of funny. I think it would have gave that actor a bit more to do too. But ultimately, you could cut it out and it still doesn't affect the story. So I can see why they just left it alone.
Exactly.
That would have also kind of like, you know, showed. I guess not show. Pardon me. Sorry. Because his Strange's desperation came in when you saw him, like, he contacted the one doctor, and obviously he had probably contacted a bunch more before that guy. Said the same thing. It's like, dude, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like, literally said, I can't do this. Like, you could, but I can't.
Or even, remember when he was driving just before his accident, and they, he's talking on the phone, and the guy's talking about back surgery case. He's like, I'm not doing that because I don't want to damage my reputation by potentially failing because this guy's a lost cause.
Yeah.
The same shit happens to him.
Yep.
And so it's like everything's coming back on him. It's almost like karma.
Yeah, it is karma. It's like a textbook case of karma. Yeah.
Some people say that
was one of those calls roadie.
Oh,
like it sounded like the first case study he got sounded like roadie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Wow.
I didn't either.
It's like he said, like something like late 40s, early 50s or something, and they said traumatic spine injury or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about putting those two together because I'm so pissed that even happened to Rhodey.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
At least he's not dead.
Slow clap. Yeah. You know? Well done, Marvel. Well done.
Dude, that was the worst war ever. No one died. No, this wasn't a war. This was a civil disagreement.
Brody,
yeah, I know. That always pissed me off. I'm like, really? Because Black Goliath, like, you pulled him out of retirement just to kill him.
Yeah, I know,
off.
just to kill, and he's still dead.
Yeah, he's the only casualty of that whole thing. I mean, unless you count fake Thor. But, like, yeah, he's the only real casualty. Like, that's and then even Cap. Cap died and came back. Like,
Yeah, not Black
not
Alliance.
Black Goliath, because nobody asked for him to be in there
Yeah.
in the first place. Oh God, Black Goliath. What the serious fuck? Oh yeah, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about some of these? I guess we could go into something else. What do you guys think about the PS4 so far? Wow, so far. What do you guys think about like the console generation so far? Because lately I've been looking at like a lot of different games coming out and the reactions to these games. And what made me think about this was I was looking at Death Stranding, and I realized that Kojima is on some heavy drugs, like really heavy drugs.
I know. A lot of people have been saying that shit.
And I get that he's directly talking to Konami with the song saying "I'll keep coming" and blah 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 in that first trailer. I get it. Konami is like this monolithic type deal to him. I mean, they're really not as big as like Sony. Like when Dave Jaffe made God of War, and he said essentially it's an allegory for the shit I went through and my staff went through working for Sony. He's like, we pretty much are Kratos and they're the gods. And we're like, fuck them. We want to do our own thing. And then he makes this. It makes $1 billion or whatever, millions of dollars. And then he leaves. I'm like, okay, I get that. It makes sense. But what the fuck is Kojima saying? Like, Kojima just like, I don't get it. But like, I'm looking at the graphics and I noticed that the games are all this ginormous step in graphic fidelity. Like there's no clipping, there's no anti-aliasing, you don't see shit. Everything looks almost exactly like it would when it's finished being rendered on whatever workstation that they make it on. But the gameplay, what the fuck? The only games I'm seeing that actually have gameplay that looks like something is like Uncharted and maybe to a point, even Metal Gear. They reanimated a lot of the movement and stuff, but it still feels like Metal Gear. It still feels clunky. You're still moving not very human-like. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you switch directions, the way you navigate a room or something. It's not like Uncharted feels like when you press forward, you walk forward. You press depending on, where you're standing. It feels contextual. Whereas Metal Gear feels overly complicated and clunky and I don't know. It just doesn't feel like what next gen should imply, if that makes sense. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the current console generations? I know I just jumped from movies to games randomly, but
not as impressed as they originally made it all sound.
Yeah.
Like you have, like the last generation, the most impressive games were the exclusives, and you're getting the same thing here with this current gen. Just because the stuff that comes out for all the systems, it's okay.
Yeah.
But the stuff that comes out specifically for each system, I would say more so the PS4 than the Xbox. The Xbox has commercial success exclusives, and the PS4 has exclusives that they're more for a niche audience, but they're so well done, they draw in a lot of people.
Well, like, do you see the reactions for Death Stranding and for even like The Last of Us 2? Like just showing you a fucking trailer that was like a couple seconds long, everybody was losing their shit. And I'm like,
oh yeah, even Red Dead, yeah.
Is it really like The Last of Us was good, but like is it really that good that you're gonna is it that different that you're really gonna lose your shit? Like,
well, I mean that's the hype train.
Yeah.
Where the gamers these days are so willing to jump on the hype train for anything that they've got brand loyalty for.
Yeah.
That's.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that's where it comes from. Like I think it's more so just brand loyalty and wanting to get there first.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, when something new comes out, it's we let the word out because little tiny Sony, don't want them to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure all your friends and family know about this.
Like I saw a meme the other day about how the Xbox is right now they're outselling the PS4, and then they show a picture. In the second picture, they show Ellie, and it says, and it shows like in the caption, Sony says, "Hold my beer," because they're bringing out now. They're starting to bring out their big guns to, challenge the Xbox. Because it all goes back to the console war.
That
Hold my
shit
drink,
needs
bitch.
to stop.
It all just it all just goes back to the whole back and forth and wanting to be part of the team that has the better system.
Well, no, it goes back to people trying to relive a time they weren't a part of. Like the console wars in the 90s, everybody talks shit about the 90s. At least in the 90s, the console wars was an actual war because each system did something different.
Yeah.
All the systems on paper now, with the exception of the PS3, even their hardware specs are almost the same. So it's like, what the fuck are you? What war are you fighting? It's stupid. It's just people arguing for the sake of arguing. They talk about
because when PS2 so PS2 Xbox, we'll say from PS2 Xbox on, pretty much 80 to 95% of the games were available on both systems.
Yeah.
So there really wasn't a really big difference at that point, except for individual performance here and there. I'm sure some system had better shadows and better animation and whatever the fuck. But it's not like, hey, you can get friggin' 50 to 100 games on Xbox One that you can't get on PS4 and vice versa. Like, those days are gone. They don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it is. The console war has switched from the hardware doing different shit to just exclusives. So now my system's better because we have the better exclusives.
Well, there's not even that many exclusives.
Yeah, there isn't.
It's drastically dropped.
I get 4 Call of Duty maps 2 months before you guys.
Exactly. And not even those exclusives. Like, those just piss me off. That's just one company paying more than the other company did to get to the game. Which, I mean, that needs to die. Yeah. I mean, I get why game companies do it, but it ultimately hurts the gamers.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't help when we're pre-ordering those games.
Yeah, pre-order culture needs to die. Pre-order culture needs to die. It needs to die a very like swift and painful death, because that's why we get the shit we get. Like unfinished games and shit. I know everybody's talked about it. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a good chunk. There's some people out there who have mentioned it. Fucking Sterling's mentioned it. A bunch of the other guys who are a little bit less straightforward and cool. Like I usually bring up Sterling because he doesn't seem to he doesn't bullshit, but like Review Tech USA and some of the other guys, they're bandwagoners all the time. Like they point out stuff because they want to skew the narrative in the direction they want it to go in, whereas Sterling's like, dude, I play video games, I don't like paying extra to get nothing. And that's essentially what it boils down to. There's no other politics to it for us. We're consumers. We're paying more and we're getting less. We're paying the same price we used to pay for a full game, and then we get like half of a game, sometimes less. And then they say, hey, guess what? You can get the rest of the pizza pie if you pay me like, $20 a piece for the rest of these pieces. And it's like, why?
Or it'll be $30 extra for the season pass.
Exactly.
And then whatever extra story elements they decide to throw in there later.
Shit. Yeah.
Because that's also like one of the really sad parts too. It's like he did it on another one of his videos, Sterling, where he said like, consoles were all about playing now.
Yeah.
Like you put in the system and you can play. But most of the games, obviously, you can speak to this because you own a PS4 already. But how many of the games you have a mandatory install?
Yep.
That goes on for hours. And like he detailed in the video, is because that's how that system actually processes data. It can't go but so fast.
Yeah.
And if the majority of the games are going to ask me for an install, then why wouldn't you get a faster way to put this shit on my system?
Exactly.
It's like, I don't want to buy a game and then I can't play it for 6, 8, 12 hours because it has to download.
But that's the way it is.
Not to mention that's not even mentioning day one patches and shit like that.
But that's just the way it is, man.
It's because they sold the gamers on a lie. If you think about it. Like, we don't have, our technology hasn't come up, like our storage technology hasn't come up enough to where you can put these games out with such 50, 60 gig downloads. And our internet speeds, we're not using light speed internet. We're not using fiber optic internet yet for whatever reason, since that shit's been out for like 20 some years.
Yeah.
We're still not on it, so it should be cheap by now. The way technology trends go, we're not using that, so our download speeds are still slow. Even if you have high speed internet, we don't have enough. Our storage hasn't caught up to where we've got terabytes and terabytes. So buying a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive is super duper affordable. And they already knew this going in, but they wanted to cut out, GameStop and all those other people, retailers. So they sold people on that idea of getting direct download games so that they could still charge us the same amount, even though they said, "Oh, but we can make these games cheaper now," which is just a fucking lie. I've been saying that before the PS4 and the Xbox One came out. They're lying to you. They're not going to lower their prices. It's just to get you on the bandwagon. It feels like they feel like Republicans when they were trying to sell the Iraq War to the American populace.
Yeah.
And it's.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and all of that kind of plays into it too. I forgot about that. The angle about trying to eliminate GameStop, because that's actually a really good point. I think them, period, not even them selling used games, because again, season passes are the stick, but fucking like big ass pre-order packages are the carrot.
Yeah.
That they try to get people to use to just buy a game brand new first week out of the gate, and just like, no, you don't want to buy a used copy, right? Because you won't be able to get these 7 characters that are coming out next month, or you won't get these fucking 15 outfits or 2 more play areas or something like that.
It's even worse.
And I'm like, I don't even know if I like the game yet.
Yeah. In a lot of shooters, it's even worse. Shooters and like racing games and such, it's like, you won't be able to get this skin for your gun. Like, I don't give a fuck about a fucking, splotch of purple paint on my fucking, M4. Like, what the fuck? I want weapons or something else that I can use. Who cares about fucking Deadpool skin in Call of Duty? Or like, you know what I mean? Like something that's so unrelated. Like, here's this Assassin's Creed costume for Solid Snake. I know that was a long time ago, but still. It's like, why do I care about that shit? It's that kind of stupid, like, unnecessary DLC or unnecessary bonus that they throw in to kind of get people on board, and the culture is so accepting of it that just that is enough for them to pay that extra. It's like, well, you don't even need this. Like, it's not even that effective or awesome in game. Why do you even need this?
And it won't even look that unique when
everyone
else is running around with the same costume on.
Exactly.
It's just annoying.
I'm like, if everybody has it, if whatever, hundreds of thousands or over 1 million people have this thing, then it's not unique.
Mm-hmm. If we're all special.
Sorry.
If we're all special, then nobody's special.
Exactly.
Yeah,
if everybody's special, nobody's special. Exactly.
It's the truth, man. It's like we're all extreme. That makes no one extreme. But no one in the gaming universe, that world seems to get this. You hear it every now and then. There's a couple of people who give a fuck and actually said, it's getting ridiculous that we pre-order everything and we don't get the quality that we should get, considering they should be picking up on the fact that this many people are already dialed in and committed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a built-in base of fans that will pay extra or will pay ahead of time for your product. Then at least put that to use and, like, make quality shit. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's a purpose. When was the last time a game really sold out? Like, it really sold out. Like, day one, you couldn't get a copy of it. That doesn't happen.
Only Nintendo makes things that sell out because they make 100 of that given thing right now.
They do it
and then I'm surprised when it sells out in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I would say maybe GTA 5. I don't know if it's sold out, but they've made.
But didn't they have issues with like patching and stuff? There was like some programming thing where like, or someone sold the game early, so they started running out of copies. Somewhere, it wasn't all like nationwide or worldwide. Somewhere I remember the same thing happened with GTA 4.
Was it the
I think maybe
European territory?
No, there were
Did
some
they get it?
copies that got out early, like in Australia or England or some shit.
Yeah.
A few
Which is
copies
funny
got out
because
early.
Australia probably
Won't even sell it at some
Yeah,
sell
point.
it all.
Oh yeah. They weren't selling it in certain stores in Australia, but I know there was a before the game came out. I think in England, a kid, this like young 8 or 9 year old kid, had gotten the game. He was so happy about it because he posted it on the internet, and you're like, why is this mom buying this kid this game, this young ass kid, this adult game? But that was like the big thing because he was so geeked about it, and we're like, what the fuck was up with the parents?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that affected like their overall sales, like because
And-
I mean they made like $1 billion in like 3 days.
Yeah, and the same thing, something similar happened when GTA 4 came out. There were like people.
I think so.
Remember in GameStop, it was people that I think they were GameStop employees. They got because I was working at GameStop when the games came in. When they came in about a month before the game was released, we had to check them all into the system, make sure we had enough for all the pre-orders before, you couldn't sell them before the actual date. You just had to check, make sure you had the right amount to go with your pre-orders for your store. And apparently somebody got it. They had more than what they, needed for pre-orders.
Wow.
And they took it home and played it overnight. And the only people online were not the testers, but the developers.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck? Why are you playing this game right now? Like, you shouldn't be on
Why
here.
would you?
And it caused problems, like everybody's like, what the fuck? The game's not out yet. Why are there like people who happen to be like management at GameStop or something? It just was weird. It's like, wow. GTA is the same every year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens with all games. They leak early. Mm-hmm. There was a guy who got No Man's Sky early.
Oh yeah,
was playing it. Copies of Final Fantasy 15 somehow leaked early, out there or whatever. I think dealing with retail, that's something that's going to be unavoidable at this point.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Does that change? Does that really change how we sell games? Like, do you need to pre-order? Do you need to pre-order everything because a few games leak early? It doesn't seem like the two things correlate. Like they don't have anything to do with one another. Or like, do you need to pre-order everything to gauge how many of this thing needs to be made worldwide? Because you're definitely not going to get accurate numbers of all the people that are going to buy your game based on pre-order sales. It's not like a Figma where like, Figma, Max Factory will be like, okay, pre-order this shit. And then they only make like very close to the amount of pre-orders. And then they refill that number periodically in some places, like their main sellers. But like, it's a video game. Like it's going to be selling at different times throughout the year regardless. You should just make 1 million, make 1 billion of them and ship them where you need to ship them. Like it doesn't seem
seems like
No, go ahead.
It seems like they're adapting another part of the movie industry that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Where's a movie deemed a success that opening weekend?
Yeah.
It's like, it does, because apparently, I mean, there's numbers to support it too. Where like apparently that's where a movie will do. I think the percentage is something like 60% of its gross will probably be in its first week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I doubt the data for games is the same, but it seems like that's how they measure it.
Yeah.
Again, so that goes to pre-orders and day 1 and day 2 sales and all that shit.
It's fucking.
I don't know why. People can buy a game whenever.
Well,
if you were me, you would normally wait until like that first run game came out in October until GameStop would put it on sale for $20 off for like September. Like running up to Christmas, because I would wait for that. There weren't too many things I would line up day 1 to get.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't worth my money or my time.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, they do that. Game companies do that whole projection of profit before the game has come out. That's why we're not getting another sleeping dogs or whatever.
Yeah, because supposedly it failed, even though it did well.
Yeah, that was Square too, right? Yeah,
Well,
that was Square
Enix
Enix
was
too,
the
right?
publisher,
Apparently,
but there was
they've
another.
only made failures in the last like 3 years or
Yeah.
so because, like I said, they've had games that have sold, 6 million, but like you said, projections were saying it would have sold like 9, so therefore it failed.
Yep. Doesn't make sense. I think Hitman was like that. Tomb Raider was like that, and there was something else. Was it a Final Fantasy that came out that year too?
Probably 13.
I think
whatever.
so.
Yeah, 13-2 or something like that. I can't remember.
No, was it? No, it was after Hitman Absolution. They said they probably weren't going to make another one because it didn't hit projections either. But then they did this. They did the download thing,
Yeah.
which on some real shit I hate. I want a full. I want a full game. I want the full Hitman experience. I don't want. Hey, this goes to your point earlier about buying part of a game.
Mm-hmm.
You buy the Hitman. You buy Hitman day one or whatever. You get 3 missions and 1 level or 2 levels or something. But we're gonna give you levels later, and then we're gonna give you special elusive targets later, and then we're gonna give you more regular targets later. Why don't you just wait and give me everything
Exactly.
at one time?
Somehow that worked. People fed into it and bought that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. Oh, let's move.
including a friend of ours, Strydent, by the way.
Really? But he always did that. You talking about Mo?
Yeah.
He always did that though.
I mean, yeah, I played it. It was fun, but I knew it would be fun because it was a Hitman game that was like the other Hitman games. Absolution was some sort of weird, like, action game hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't totally like it used to be. But no, like the new ones, they literally stick you in a map, you move around, and you wear disguises and gain access, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted the whole game.
What did you think about Absolution? Or did you play it?
I've only played bits and pieces of it. I've not finished it. But from all the videos and the reviews I've seen, it's more action oriented, which isn't necessarily bad, but that's not what I want from a Hitman game. I want to be able to friggin' be stealthy and all that stuff. Like, I'm also not like friggin' Dan Reichert, who just wants to play a game like that to like cause havoc.
Yeah.
And that's fine if you do.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but no one does the opposite. No one wants to play Call of Duty and be all sneaky.
Yeah, exactly.
But you want to play a game like Hitman and like want to blow up everything.
Yeah. You want to play Hitman like you would play Grand Theft Auto. And it's like that's why those games
exactly.
exist. That's that problem I have with the way that things have progressed. Like back when we were kids, I'll use fighting games as an example because that's the best example I can use. All of us would play whatever the hot shit was at one time or another. You'd play a certain amount based on how much money you had at the time. And you would pick the character to get the best experience. You would pick the character that appealed to you. You wouldn't pick the character that fucking Justin Wong picked because you didn't know about it until you read about it in EGM or one of those magazines. You would pick the character that you like. And then you would figure out how to make that motherfucker work. Because you like that design and connected with you. That's why there are multiple characters in a fighting game. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, and you would be proud too to rep that character. Like you'd be like, I will fuck you up with Blanca. Like so many kids in school loved Blanca when we were little. Like I'll fuck you up with Blanca. They talk their shit, whatever. And and then there were those kids who Ken. You had all those kids who always played as Ken in Street Fighter, and it's like, whatever. Ken's too easy to play with. That's probably why you'll win. You had a Dragon Punch. It's invincible. Blah, blah, blah. All that shit. But anyway, nowadays, you see this immersive, or extensive roster of characters, and because 3 characters are the dominant characters at EVO 2000 dick in your mouth, then everybody plays with those 3 fucking characters. No imagination, no individuality. They don't even try to use different techniques from what they saw the champs do. They try to recreate what the champ did every fucking time they play. Where's the imagination in that? Where's the fun in you not even expressing yourself or figuring out a new technique or a new way to, beat your opponent? I mean, that's pretty much all you do in a fighting game, especially if you're only going to play against people. And it's like, it goes back to the fact that now you have YouTube and you can easily check that shit out. people don't try to do their own thing. You know, the fact that on YouTube you got a bunch of idiots that will stream or you know, upload recordings of themselves doing the opposite of what the game says you should do. Now everybody wants to do what that guy does. You know?
It's entertaining, and that's why they do it.
It was entertaining.
Well, I mean, it's entertaining for that audience.
Yeah, it was entertaining the first time, but now it's like, oh, we expect you to play everything like total fucking chaos. You know, like we expect that shit. That's why I would tell people when I worked at GameStop, people would always talk shit about Call of Duty. I'm like, no, come see me in Vegas in Rainbow Six. I was like, you can talk all that shit about Call of Duty. You probably will murder me in Call of Duty, but I bet you won't do that in Rainbow Six. And they're like, nah, man, that game's too slow. Oh yeah, it's too slow. You mean you have to think? That's why you can't play us in fucking Vegas. I'm like, it's cheap too. This is $10. Buy it right now, and I'll see you tonight. And they're like, nah, man, I'm good. Nah, man.
Yeah, Call of Duty is just free for all.
It's just chaos.
Free for all Twitch shooting everybody.
And
like
I don't
even trigger shooting and camping.
It's not even the best kind either. Like if you go back and you play Unreal Tournament, that's the way Twitch shooting is supposed to be. Especially like the last couple of them. Just like real good fucking experience with your friends, with people you don't know. If you want to run around mass chaos and just fucking destroy everything, fine. But when you watch how people play that shit, all this goofy shit that these kids do now, nah, that's not what helps you win in those games. You actually have to have a quick trigger finger and good reflexes. It's not all about picking the best, the one loadout that everybody picks and then spamming shit with that. Like, I don't know. That shit bores me. It's why I don't really play online. Like, you remember when we tried playing Tekken online? You played it more than me.
Yeah.
People would pick Warong or fucking Law, and they would just do the triple kicks or like rapid kicks in succession all day. Yeah. All day. Flurry kick, flurry kick, and then juggle you. Flurry kick, and then if they miss that shit, it's game over because they didn't have any other skills. I'm like, how is this fun? You bought a game, you're playing as a character who has over 100 moves, and at least half of them are really effective, and you only use one technique? Like, why even bother? Why bother? I don't know. I don't know. The way gamers work today, like you used to say about them finding the path of least resistance in everything. You know, let's find the game-breaking, method of beating this boss where we don't even have to work very hard, like
I blame the developers too, because like
they cater to it.
Like Watch Dogs 2, for instance. I like the game, but because they know there's a Grand Theft Auto crowd out there, they added those elements in there, even though they don't really make sense for the character because he's not a violent individual. But now you've added these more aggressive options that he could take, and so most people just tend to lean towards those instead of using their brains to actually, because the stealth shit can actually get pretty hard if you go the stealth route. And even if you go the balls to the wall, run and gun, that can get difficult too, but it's way more challenging. You have to do a lot more thinking and planning if you go the stealth route. Like, I read a few reviews where people were saying, like, because the saving system sucks in that game, they would plan out these scenarios and they'd get so far, but then they die because they fucked up. Because if you fuck up, the game makes you pay for it, and so they'd have to go back and start their progress all over again. But that's because of the way they structured the stealth. It's more fun to me. It was more fun to go stealth than it was to just run in there and kill everybody, because you couldn't. Once you go in there and you start executing your plan, you kind of have to finish your plan, because if you don't, guys start waking up and then they start searching for you, and then that throws whatever plan you have off. And because they limited some of your non-violent options, like you have all the violent options, you have all the guns in the world to choose from. But of course, but if you want to go non-violent, you only have your taser, which you have to hand load each shot, so there's a delay. And you have like a grenade launcher taser that you can 3D print.
And you can't just knock them out?
Well, that's the thing. His melee, I don't think they're knocked out. I think they're fucking dead. because if you watch the animation, because it's that climbing cord on an 8-ball, which is like a for real weapon.
Oh, you're talking about you said Watch Dogs. I thought you said Sleeping Dogs. I don't know why. My brain went there.
Dogs, he's killing those people.
That's what I thought. I was like, there's options for that?
No,
I got you.
Watch Dogs 2, he has that rope with the 8-ball on it. And if you see some of those animations, like he had one where he lit the dude twice with the 8-ball, and when the dude was kind of on the ground, he did this is Sparta kick and just kicked that dude so hard. And I was like, that guy's dead. He's not knocked out. He's fucking dead. So I try not to use those melee attacks because they're finished. Like, they don't get up after a while. I just go in there, I stealth, I shoot people, I use some of the objects to stun.
Yeah.
And then I go in and try and complete the objective. And there's different ways you could do it. Like, I infiltrated this one spot to get this bag of money. Mm-hmm. And just with this situation, I didn't even step in the place. I, like, hacked one of the forklifts, and I lifted the money and rolled it out to me. Because that was available, like that option actually presented itself for me. It doesn't always work out that way. You have to just figure it out. But in that particular case, it worked. So, like, to me, that was more fun than just, like, I don't know how people can sit there and run in every game they play, run in and kill everybody, and still say that's fun. Like, to me, that was more fun because, well, like you said, you have to use your brain in order to figure it all out.
People don't want to use their brains. Just want to blow shit up.
People say they want differences, they want changes in gameplays, they want gameplay innovation. I'm like, no, they want games that play like Call of Duty and GTA.
Yeah, they want to talk about innovation, but they don't want it.
Yeah, because it makes you sound smart. It makes you sound like you have taste or something. Like, and there's nothing wrong with liking those games. There really isn't. Kind of shit, but yeah, but the point I like having that you get to
the variety.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every game shouldn't have to be like that for you to like it. And if so, then guess what? You have GTA and you have Call of Duty, then just play those games. Exactly. They come out, okay, well, Call of Duty's come out every year. GTAs are a little more spaced out. But, I mean, like, just play those all the time then, and only play those if that's all you want.
Yep.
Because that's what was kind of bugging me about that too. Because it's like their tonal differences. Again, I'm not going to use that stupid term everybody was using like years ago. But yeah, the way that Homeboy in Watch Dogs 2 presents himself, he's not a friggin' psycho killer.
Yeah.
So he's not just going to want to kick the door into this fucking like gang held chop shop and kill 15 people to get what he needs.
And he's not Steven Seagal either. So, like, he can't really do that effectively. Like, it looks like the character, the way he's designed in the game, the moves that he's designed with, they're not quite, like, he's not Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't walk into the room and lay waste to everybody flawlessly. It's going to kind of be grimy, and you're going to kind of have to work. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it still has... It doesn't look like he's martial arts flossing on people. It's more of a clean street level type of fight.
Yeah.
With his his 8-ball.
With his 8-ball.
His 8-ball on a string.
Yeah.
But even what's the name? Even like a game like Deus Ex, like people were upset, and once I played it, I was kind of mad too. It's like the only way you can get through a boss fight is by killing them with guns and explosives. So if you spent the whole game building up your
stealth ability,
your hacking and your all those non-violent paths, and you flat out didn't even carry a gun, I mean, they shoved guns in the room so you had options. But if you didn't build up any skills with them, there was no other way you were going to get by the bosses.
Yep.
And I'm like, you couldn't like have me just like hack them and get them stuck in a garage or something like that, or some other option where it's like, hey, maybe I could make the sprinkler work and they get caught up in something. I'm like options like that would have made that game work a little better. It was still fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and Watch Dogs 2, I almost see as like the same way, because again, your dude's a hacker. He is not a hacker who used to work for the NSA by way of SEAL Team 6. So no, he's not going to want to just like run in there and leave a trail of bodies.
Yeah, exactly. You know how it is.
But the other thing, going back to the fighting game thing real quick, I'm like, I could see that being the issue now if you were literally paying per play every time, like, fine, I want to find a strategy that works and fucking just stick with it. But no, there's no quarter. You don't have to put your quarter up on the screen anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can play it at your leisure.
Yep.
You can develop a freaking like master strategy with Dalsum or whoever you want now.
Well, I mean,
You
and then
can
you have
devote
channels.
time and event as you want, but everybody still wants to just rock the same two or three
bullshit,
characters.
yeah. And you got channels that like fucking offer tutorials, and you've got like so many outlets, you know, now because Evo has gotten to this level based on social media. They've gotten to this level where everyone who plays fighting games, they know what Evo is.
Mm-hmm.
All these people who have like won at least once or won at least a big chunk of their fights at Evo, they have an audience now. So like you really can't complain about like not knowing how to use any random character in there because somebody will tell you how to play as all these characters, and you still have that limited thinking bunch of folks or majority of folks who only use the characters that are the top tier. They only use those characters. They don't even look at the rest of the characters in there until some guy like Punko or somebody shows up and starts dominating with a low tier character. Then everybody wants to use them. It's fucking annoying. You know, it's just like times have changed so much based on the fact that now there's like instant access to everything that nobody's using their imagination, especially in games. Like no one uses their imagination. Usually you see after a game's been out for a while, maybe a year or so, you start seeing those videos pop up where somebody finds like a really crazy way to, like we saw it with Red Dead, we saw it with Metal Gear 5, where people are figuring out ways to finish missions in a really unorthodox kind of way. And it's not like just blowing everything up either. You know, it's just like they're figuring out like a path to do it and still have fun doing it, but you're bypassing a lot of things that would be difficult, or you're taking out remember back when Metal Gear 1 came out, like a year after the game came out, then someone did like a speed run of the game, and the way they beat Vulcan Raven was to use the fucking Stinger missiles instead of the Nikita. So he's just running through the room, and every time he saw him, Stinger, boom, and he'd run. Then he would wait for a little while, wait for him to show up, run by, hit him, and it took him like 3 or 4 Stingers to kill him. I mean, obviously, I think he had the Stingers because he had beat the game before, but still, you're normally going to use the Nikita, and you still run the risk of getting them shot out of the air by Raven. But it was different, you know what I mean? It wasn't what we thought we could do with that character, you know, fighting that character. So, like, people exist, but it's just such a small group of people as opposed to all the folks that just, you know, fucking copy off of everybody else. I don't know. It's lame. And it's stuff like that turns me off to playing. Even, like, with fighting games, we don't have good enough bandwidth, like, universally, so that we can play each other online and not have lag. And I think it's programming because shooters always have like 10 times the amount of people on screen, 10 times the amount of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Recognition for things, because some games have procedural damage. I think it's procedural, right? Where, like, if you get hit in the arm, localized damage, I think is what it's
localized damage, yeah.
If you get hit in the arm, you know, that's another type of hit. If you get hit in the head, obviously it's a headshot, it's a critical. You get hit in the legs, you know, something happens. I mean, and then there's games like Battlefield where you can destroy your surroundings and shit, you know? And those games run fine online with all that shit going on. Billions of bullets being sprayed. But fighting games where there's only 2 characters on screen, sometimes 4, they still can't get that shit right. Like, where we could just play. I mean, like, even Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo lagged like a motherfucker on PS3 and, you know, Xbox and blah, blah, blah. Why? How come right now there's no
frames, man?
Yeah, I mean, and the frame
rate. A lot of frames.
Frame rates aren't even that high, you know? A lot of moves are like 5 frames, if that. And you're telling me they can't get that shit right where we can play it with no, you know, lag. Tekken's fucking, it's all, you know, polygonal characters and shit. Still can't get smooth. Him and I tried to play each other, me and Agent O. We played each other online one time. He lives like 5 minutes away from me. we're playing each other. Actually, at the time, you were exactly 5 minutes
Yeah.
away because I was close. I was on Neo. We had the worst match. It was just lagging like crazy. I couldn't even tell when he was going to move forward. And like when I tried to move forward, I couldn't move. Then he came over and we played. We had like some awesome matches. And it's like, why is this still a thing? Why is this still a problem? I don't get it. It's like the resources are going to the wrong places. And like with them selling games, fighting games, where you have to pay for most of the characters, like they're not all in the game when you get it, they're making extra money and it's not going back into the game. Somebody's riding a white horse hard. Like the money's going elsewhere and it's not going back into the game and it needs to. I don't know. That's what I see. It frustrates the shit out of me, man.
Damn, so bad he just had to get up.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick.
But yeah, man, at this stage, how many generations of console, how advanced technology we're working with. Like you said, the saddest part is it does come down to like just shit internet and us not and the tech not being able to optimize what you have to kind of make this run a lot smoother. And you're right, at this stage, we should be closer to that. Like, and again, like you would think people who make fighting games predominantly, or specifically the one company or two that still make fighting games, would try to really, really like get that under control.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. That's what turns me off with them, is that like you think in all these years, like when we were kids, there were like 50 companies that made fighting games, like SNK had like fucking, everybody under the sun making games for the Neo Geo. You had, Williams, Midway, you had fucking Konami making fighting games. You had like SNK proper making fighting games.
Data East.
Yeah, Data East was making shit. You had IGS, you had I don't know, you just had a ton of companies making games, and there were so many games to choose from. Now you only have 3 companies. You have Capcom, you have what do they call NetherRealm Studios, and then you have SNK Playmore.
Who makes the Guilty Gear and
oh, you're right, Atlas
Arc Systems or Axis now.
Yeah,
I think it's Axis.
Axis, and then you have Namco. And that's really it. I mean, we're not going to pretend that Dead or Alive counts. And we're not going to pretend that Virtua Fighter counts anymore either. I mean, it's gotten better, don't get me wrong.
Virtua Fighter's done.
Yeah, that final, what was it called? Final Showdown?
Oh, yeah.
It was cool. Like, it was the best Virtua Fighter ever has been, but it's done, and it doesn't really, that's it.
I think Dead or Alive is done, too.
It had to be done, because Itagaki's gone, and he was like the driving force behind that series, and like, it wasn't going to get any better without him. So, yeah, like, there's only a handful of fighting games now. You'd think they would be trying to take things to like the next level. Instead, the games just look better. And shit, look at Street Fighter. It doesn't even look that much better. And, speaking of that, man, I'm sorry. I had to jump into something else. Because I was listening to the music in Street Fighter V. What the fuck happened? Like, what really... It sounds like Sci-Fi Channel original movie music. Like... This shit's terrible. It's terrible. Like and then I was in the comments like I always do, which I'm torturing myself and I need to stop. People were like, I like this shit better than Street Fighter 3. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike specifically, even though the menu musics were all hip hop, the game itself had like every genre. There were rock songs, there were trip hop songs, there were like dub songs, there were jazz songs. It was everything, because that's how Street Fighter typically is. There's like the theme. There's the theme for each game, and then there's the overarching, there's a theme for each game, specifically as a whole, and then there's the individual themes for all the characters. Street Fighter V, holy shit. The music is all over the place. There's like 4 or 5 different styles of music for the menus. Then there's like, and none of it's really good. Then there's like one or two. I mean, one day I was working on freelance shit, and I just was like, the game looks like shit. Let me just listen to it and see what the music sounds like. I think there was one track that stood out. I can't even remember if it was like a mall or Brazil or it was a stage with a really cool beat to it. I think it was some mall, and it was the only song, and it's not even good in comparison to like other shit. It's good compared to all the other crap in the game. But
everything else you had heard.
Yeah, man, it all like nothing stood out. Like normally when I play a fighting game, there's always like one stage that you're like, oh shit, like that's my stage. That's where I want to fight. That's the stage that amps me up. Nothing in the game sounded good. Even Ryu's theme, it's like fucking the Mix 105 version of Ryu's theme. Like it's got like acoustic guitars and it's got orchestral hits, but there's nothing epic about it. Like Street Fighter 4 at least got the epic tone of all of Ryu's little struggles, like with the fight between him and Akuma, him and Guken, and then him and Ken. Like I'm like, okay, that sounds like what I would expect Ryu's theme to sound like at this stage in his story. But like man. I couldn't believe it, man. There were like a handful of songs that were like remixes of like their actual themes. The majority of the songs in the game are all like the stage theme, you know what I mean? So Ryu had his theme, Chun-Li had a version of her theme, Vega had a version of his theme, and they all just sound so like just ugh. I mean, I guess maybe the new people were supposed to consider those songs their themes. I don't know. Because there's more stages than there are characters. But oh god, the shit was terrible. I was like, wow, and I'm when I would pick a song, or you know, when the playlist would move to the next song, like I said, I'd read after I hear it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I go in the comments, and they're like, this is the best song in the game. I'm like, what are you, fucking deaf? Like, really? Like, really? That's all it takes is a couple guitars, and you're like, shit, yeah, that's my shit. Like, what? Really? I don't know, man. I was just disappointed. It sounded like they admire what Harada's team does with Tekken every year or every couple years, and they're trying to emulate how broad the styles are in Tekken. It's just that they got people who don't get those styles, so the music doesn't sound like the actual authentic. It doesn't have the authentic pieces to make it sound right, and it sounds like a bad imitation of, like, you know, fake low budget like dubstep, you know what I mean, or like really bad dance music, you know, done by folks who don't understand what makes a good dance track, you know, or jazz that's partially the music that you get that's stock in your music programs. It's like part of the song is that, and then they add their little excuse me. They add their thank you. They add their little embellishment to that to that jazz song that's like stock in your fucking, you know, Cool Edit or fucking, you know, Fruity Loops or some shit. It just sounded bad. Everything was bad, low quality sounding stuff. I don't know how else to put it. And I'm surprised that the reactions aren't like, people aren't like, this shit sucks. What the fuck? But yeah, I had to get that out because that shit was terrible. I mean, I was really amazed at how bad it was, you know, because at least, you know, as much as I hated Street Fighter 4, the music wasn't that bad. I mean, Indestructible is terrible. Like, don't ever. I mean, I know there's people who like that kind of shit, and, you know, more power to you, but in the real world, the rest of the world, it's garbage. Sorry.
Yeah, there's J-pop out there that's better than that. Doesn't sound like J-pop.
God.
It's garbage, carbon copy J-pop.
Yeah. God, that shit was terrible. Dude's singing wasn't even that good either. I can feel it coming over me. I feel it all around me. I'm like, oh, God, that shit was terrible. Like, it didn't, put it like this. The music in Street Fighter 4, like, that sucked. It could still work on its own. Like, if it wasn't in Street Fighter. It just didn't fit Street Fighter. Like, it's not the aesthetic of Street Fighter. Street Fighter usually had more epic sounding music, more, at least it sounds like a fight. It didn't sound like fucking Korean dance music or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't sound soft. So I don't know. That's my problem with this new stuff. It's like they just don't know the tone. They don't know the pieces that make this shit as good as it has been in the past. And now we're getting a subpar version of that. And you still got this new fan base who doesn't remember what the shit was like back in the day because they weren't playing games yet. And yeah, they love it. So it's gonna stay like this.
So they just the Street Fighter fan base just swallows whatever Capcom gives them.
Yeah.
Like all the people that like I would read comments where people were just defending Street Fighter V when it first dropped because of the way it dropped and because it was supposed to be for the tournament or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, any other game out there you guys would have voiced your displeasure over, but because of Street Fighter, you're giving it a pass, and you're not even aware that you're doing it. It pissed me off so bad.
Yeah.
See, the indoctrination is complete.
I know, right?
And then when I tried to mention a game that actually gave you a full game when it dropped, it turned into
about graphics in the game.
Well, it turned into this fighting game is better than that fighting game argument. And I was like, that was never my argument. I'm arguing about how this company presented their game this way as a full, complete game. This company is giving you only a partial game. You have to wait for the rest of it, and you have to pay for characters if you don't want to wait, because they're gonna make the gameplay structure, the money structure of tedious grind. So you're just going to get frustrated and you're going to buy those characters. Or if you're in the fighting game community, you're going to buy those characters anyway because you need to either start understanding how they work or you're going to start playing as those characters, so you want to get a jump ahead of everyone else that's going to grind and eventually buy those characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I say all this, but people would find ways to justify why Street Fighter V was just better, and so I just gave up arguing.
The best fighting game release that we've had is still Killer Instinct. They eventually corrected the issue with having you buy all the characters, and they just released an Ultimate that had everything, except for I think at the time whatever Season 3 was gonna have. And the way they redesigned those old characters beats the shit out of every redesign of every Capcom character since the fucking like birth of Street Fighter. Like they shat all over fighting games with, except for maybe Tekken, and even Tekken's gotten stale with, like they grew to a point and now they're Street Fighter characters. Like they always look the same in every game. Like Heihachi just stopped getting old because they were like, fuck it, we don't want to make him get any older, so he's just forever 90 years old. Looking like He-Man and shit, and he's 90 years old. And it's just, he's a caricature now. So, like, there's no more growth in the Street Fighter universe. Like, Law, he's not getting older. He's stuck perpetually Bruce Lee in his prime. That's it. He's stuck there. Or over his prime. Because now when you charge up too much, he, like, falls over, you know? Everybody is going to stay. Like, Xiao Yu has been a teenager for I don't know how long. Yet Jin is old enough to run a company. You know, like Jin's an adult now, but Xiao Yu stayed at that petite young girl age, and she's not getting older. Even with Rocky Chloe in there, they're still not going to make Xiao Yu ever an adult. She's going to be stuck there. And same thing with Street Fighter. Sakura, by now, if she was introduced in Alpha when Ken and Ryu were teenagers, how could she be in Street Fighter 4 when they're adults and she's still in high school? Like, what? Did you not pay attention to the passage of time? Like, other characters, Chun-Li got older, Ken and Ryu got older, Charlie wasn't in the game because he died, and Guile is now in his place. How the fuck is she still a little girl? Like, they just don't care about that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. When I look at Killer Instinct, though, you see, like, they took apart the designs that existed, and they said, let's update these designs. Don't lose the integrity of the original design, but let's give you updated versions of the designs. And then with the gameplay, they threw out all the shit that ripped off every other game that was out at the time. Because let's be real, the original Killer Instinct had dragon punches, it had fatalities, it had fucking humiliations, it was like half Street Fighter and half Mortal Kombat, because both those games were the popular games at the time. The only thing that was original was combo breakers and the ridiculous ultra combos. That's it. you know? Now they actually went back and changed all that shit. And I've only played like a handful of fights in this game, and I'm still way more impressed with what they did than any of the other games that have come out, because like the music is stellar. The music is fucking like out of this world. Everything is good. There's maybe one or two songs that aren't as good as like the best shit in there, but all the music is amazing.
I would say you could listen to off the entire
score.
Yeah,
straight through. You could. You'll get amped about a couple of them, but like it's all good. Yeah, all of it is really, really fucking good. It's better than all the Street Fighter shit we've had in the last couple years, because not only did they listen to the original songs and pay homage to them by including parts of that song in the new versions of, each character's track, the updates, like the music sounds like fucking music. It sounds like some shit you would hear at your club of choice that would play that kind of shit. The sound effects are awesome. The effects in general in the game visually are amazing. The fucking timing, the combo system, everything just seems like they sat down and they just improved where they needed to improve. Whereas like Street Fighter, they're still selling you the exact same shit, but they keep taking away from what made it great. Like, before, when we got to Street Fighter 3, all the boxes were checked. You need some type of counter thing. Check. You need, what do they used to call them? The combos that, like combo buffering and shit. Check. We needed chain combos. Check. We need, aerial blocking. Check, because you could parry in the air. And it's even an option once you get the home system where you could turn on the air blocking if you wanted that. We need multiple super combos. Check. We need to be able to like combo into those super combos. What do they call them? Target combos and shit. Check. All these things were there. We need a different play style. A different musical style that's modern for the time. Check. Then as the new games came out, they were like, we don't need modern music. We don't need, updated characters, because this game takes place in between 2 and 3, even though it's 4.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need the storyline to progress because it takes place in between 2 and 3, so fuck that shit. We're not going to change any of the designs in any meaningful way, so erase that check. The music is going to be the same songs, except we're just going to use different instruments and add dance beats to everything, So erase the modern soundtrack. Get rid of that shit. Nothing. The endings were crap. The endings were like sketchy looking, like they supposedly ran out of money because, that shitty graphics engine that's based on the Unreal 4 engine. Like, that's the worst use of the Unreal 4 engine. God, it's so bad. Oh, the only thing worse than that was Tekken versus Street Fighter. Tekken Cross Street Fighter, right?
Yeah. No,
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah, Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah. That was the only one worse because they just didn't look right in that game. Everything looked goofy in that game. But I don't know, man. Like, in comparison, if you put those games side by side and you just look at the improvements, there's so many improvements and so many, like, effective improvements in the Killer Instinct reboot. And all that shit is missing from the new games. Even Mortal Kombat, they did a better job updating and, like, they went overboard. Don't get me wrong. That shit is fucking foul. Like, the game is just, everybody's skin is made out of fucking tissue paper and, like, they got spaghetti inside of them and shit. But, like, you just look at how they updated characters and, you all right? Told you, you can't hit that shit on the mic, man. That's not
cool. It's like, what, man? This is how I get through my day.
To cow. No, like, the Mortal Kombat characters have grown. Like, I don't like that Liu Kang is now kind of evil. Like, it's kind of generic that now you can make all the good guys turn evil. Like, that seems to be the way they do things. First, Superman gets to be evil. Now, Liu Kang. They told you when they made Liu Kang, like, he's the guy that you could show Mortal Kombat to your grandmother, and she would be like, okay, I like that guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't kill. His moves are clean. He's based on Bruce Lee. He's the hero, Now he's a villain, straight up. It's kind of lame, but still, the way they it's
called the character arc.
I know. Apparently, it's the character arc, the only one. But the game looks good. It looks better. The designs have integrity. They updated things that need to be upgraded. It looks good. I mean, and they're catering to their audience based on what they know was lacking in the previous ones. It's like they're making up for those shitty PS2 Mortal Kombat games. God. Those games are horrible. And like they weren't Mortal Kombat. That was the problem. This one, they're like, take it back and let's just start from where Mortal Kombat 3 left off and then just add features to that engine and build it back up. And essentially that's what we got. Music is better. I mean, it's not great, but it feels like Mortal Kombat, which their music always was like in their own little world.
Yeah, man.
But or fucking the forest. Oh my god, I played too much of that.
Yeah.
Or fucking the pit stage in Mortal Kombat 2. But yeah, they did the things that are specific to that game. They didn't try to like do what everyone else is doing. Street Fighter right now is trying too hard to do things that other games do better, and they're not doing a good job of making their own identity or continuing their own identity. And it just looks stupid. Even King of Fighters, people bitched and bitched and bitched and bitched because the early trailers, which they shouldn't. SNK needs to start slowing their roll. They always hurry up and put out a trailer before the game's even half done, and then people bitch and complain, and then they lose sales, and then they want to say, oh, our game, people aren't interested in our games anymore. No, we're mad because we are interested in your games, and you blew your load before you even finished stroking. Like, what the hell, what's going on? Like, make the game, finish it, Like, how did you release, what was that, King of Fighters 13, I think it was? Before, we're on 15 now, right?
No, we're on 14.
14, so yeah, it was 13. How they released 13 2 times because the first time it wasn't finished. There was no boss. There was, some of the teams only had, some of the teams were incomplete. There were like 2 people instead of 3. It's like, what the fuck, what were you doing? Just release it when it's done. People will wait because they want quality. The people who like SNK shit, we've liked them for a long time. We'll wait, But, yeah, even their games, though, you see the fucking, like, evolution. Certain characters are getting older. I mean, now I don't like their art direction for the new games because Kyo should be an adult, and he looks like he went back in time, but his clothes have evolved. You know what I mean? Like, his clothes look modern, but his face looks like he's, 12 years old again, And it's like, come on, just make him older, But there's characters that you're seeing that, like, Terry keeps getting older. Andy kind of keeps getting older. Even Joe's getting older, but like they're still, how do I put it? They still look like anime older. They don't look like real world older. You know what I mean? Like more chiseled muscles, bigger physiques, if that's what they're doing. They just look like, I don't know, like slight tweaks to their designs. But still, they're doing the things that work like SNK isms in their game. They're continuing that shit. They're not trying to do what Tekken does, because we already have Tekken. So yeah, I don't know. That was a long ass rant. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm so annoyed at that shit because I want to go back. I want to get back into fighting games, and the ones that I like are still around, but they're not doing anything with them. They're not doing enough to like justify you picking that up over going back and playing one of the old ones. You know what I mean? Like, King of Fighters is not. I don't know. I'm not impressed. Same thing with what was the other one that we played? Rival Schools. Where the fuck is the new Rival Schools? I know we were talking about that a while ago. That game's amazing.
There was they said something about since Capcom announced what was it? I think shortly after they announced Marvel versus Capcom Infinite or Infinity or whatever the fuck it is. They said they're gonna be basically like digging up dead horses to beat them again. I mean, reviving some older franchises. So no information on what those are. Fingers crossed. At least one of them is Darkstalkers or Rival Schools. We'll see.
Yeah, what else will they do?
Yeah, but they'll still.
I don't even know. I'm trying to think. Obviously, Mega Man ain't gonna be one of them. Like it's not that. So what else have they really got? Are we really going to see another like Ghosts and Goblins game?
Ugh.
Could be cool if we do, depending on what they do with it.
I was
But
never big
yeah,
on the
what
first
else?
one.
What other franchises would they even think about bringing back?
I don't know.
Captain Commando.
There you go.
No, they need to
Boom.
bring back the ones. Well, they'd fuck them up. They need to bring back the lesser known ones, like Red Earth or Ray Earth, whatever it was called. I think it was Red Earth. They need to bring back fucking Battle Circuit. They need to like dig into crates and fix shit. They need to bring back fucking Tech Romancer, amp that shit up.
Yes.
They need to do shit that like they didn't even really scratch the surface with. That way, people can't say this is nothing like the original. Like, well, because the original was only around for like a year or so. You know what I mean? Like, Tech Romancer wasn't out for very long. Shit, nothing on the Dreamcast was out for that
long. On the Dreamcast is out for long. Yeah, I wonder what the longest running franchises on that system was. Probably Soul Calibur. I think they had 1 and 2.
Yeah, Soul
and that was
Calibur.
it.
Shenmue outlasted the Dreamcast because it was on the Xbox. Shenmue 2 was. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I almost don't care that much, but like, I mean, I know I'm gonna be getting a PS4 sometime soon. Like, I'm gonna try to get it. No, fuck Blaze Blue. Fuck Blaze Blue. I hate Axis and Arc Systems. I don't know what it is about their games. It just feels like fan service. The game, like they take every anime stereotype and just diarrhea in your face, and you know what I mean. Like, and
no, it is because the funny thing in this game, obviously, well, here I'll flash it up again. Yeah, see that Joker right there?
Yeah, it's Dante.
yeah, he is literally even more so. He is literally an amalgamation of everyone you've ever seen who looks like that. He is Dante. He is freaking Inuyasha. He is who else is he?
Every guy with
there's
white
like two
hair
other
and red clothes.
He's fucking Vash the Stampede from Trigun.
Lord.
Like all of that, like thrown into one character, and I'm like, I guess that's the base level of inspiration of new ideas. Of you literally just take a bunch of old ideas and you just
smash them together.
Smash them together in a one character. There you go.
I know, right? Just diarrhea all over you guys. I can't. I can't do it.
And I'm like, look, I play it. It's nuts. Yeah. Plus, like literally, that character is broken too because that character has there's moves that he does where like I noticed like little orbs fly into him afterwards. I'm like, oh, that's kind of like Devil May Cry, and I'm like, wait a minute, did he just get his health back? Oh, that sucks.
What?
When I'm not using him. Wow. But yeah. So like they put like little bits in the game and that like there's another character in here that's his brother and he's kind of like Virgil in a couple ways, and yeah, that's what it is. It's literally like fan service. The game.
I can't do
the system in the game. The system of the game is cool enough. Like I enjoy playing it. Like literally just seeing what the hell type of crazy shit I can do. And there's some crazy shit.
Oh yeah, there always is. Because like even Guilty Gear, I liked some of the system, but I couldn't deal with the characters. Man, the characters are. It's like I said, fan service the fucking video game. Like. It's like going on DeviantArt and you type in anime. Like, that's what you get. You know what I mean? Like, except it's in a fighting game. I can't do it, man. It's just like the lamest fucking... You got trap characters galore. You got, your generic hero characters galore. You got your dude with the glasses who's always, fixing his glasses. You got your butler characters. You got your fucking wandering vagabond samurai character. You got your fucking punk rock character. You got like every fucking stereotype that you've seen in anime. You got them. I'm like, you got your fucking weird character. You got your generic.
There's like multiple weird characters.
Yeah. You got your generic big ass guy that takes up half the screen, and he's a poor design. Like the designs aren't even that good for those guys. It doesn't appeal to me. Like I want to have a character that sticks out for me that I can instantly kind of like get behind. And even when I get behind the design, their moves don't fit the design. Like it always feels like some characters have mismatched moves. You know what I'm saying? Like moves that should have probably been for this guy, they gave to this one. Like Jam. She's like practically Jam. Mm-hmm. Jam's practically useless in some ways. I mean, I've seen people do cool stuff with her, but like on a base level, unless you really know the game, she's not that good of a character, you know? And I usually like the Chinese characters because Kung Fu is a dominant style or a dominant pool of styles to pull from, you know?
Yeah.
Not in that game. You think Kung Fu was created like yesterday. Like, shit is so weak in comparison to everybody else. The sword characters are all dominant because they're sword characters in a fighting game where a lot of people, I think almost everyone in Guilty Gear had some kind of weapon, right? Some kind of, except for Potemkin's
yeah. Jam was the only one that didn't have a weapon.
Exactly, and she wasn't really like super. She wasn't like Heihachi in Soul Calibur 2, where it was like, okay, I get why he can fight you with no weapon, but I don't know. I must be a very different breed of fighting game person because like some of this shit just doesn't work for me.
No, that shit is an acquired taste. I will absolutely say that. Like, I would not push that on anyone. It's like, dude, man, if you like fighting games, if you like really, really quirky anime and like frenetic as hell fighting games, other than dude, like, play this. Like, you'll love it. Like, no.
I will say, though, Arc Systems knocks their graphics out of the water for Street Fighter compared to
absolutely.
Street Fighter.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I think only like Vanillaware like near as good as they do.
Yeah,
but yeah, absolutely.
If only Vanillaware would do a fighting game. Have they done one? I don't think they have.
Just games like just side scrollers and stuff like that. I know they've done things other than Odin Sphere and what was the game we were playing? Dragon's Crown.
We need to get into that. But we haven't played that in forever. Shit.
Yeah, that game was a lot of fun and looked friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's like I don't know whether it's that the community literally can't support, meaning morally support, like multiple games, and if so, that says more about us as a species than it does about games.
No, it says more about gamers than it does about the games because nowadays you can't like the things. You have to only like one or the other. Like everybody always wants to pick a side. And it's like you paid for the shit. Just enjoy it. Who gives a shit if both exist?
That's what I mean. I think somebody else said it too. I think it was it may have been Sterling or maybe somebody else I was watching. It was like, you can actually like two of the same type of thing, and that's okay. Yeah, it's allowed. Like, this is America. We can choose. But I guess people take that choose thing a little too literally. It's like, you like that, so you're stupid because I don't.
What are you about to say?
Oh, no, I was going to say it may have been Sterling who said that because when he did that video about Battleborn and Overwatch.
Yeah.
And because, he felt Battleborn was a way better game, but he said he likes to play both. And it's like, why can't you like to play both?
Yeah.
It's like you can. It's like you paid money for this. Like, so if you want to if you do enjoy it, like literally you plop down your money for let's use that example. You plop down your money for Battleborn because it came out earlier and you actually really enjoyed it. And then you plop down your money for Overwatch and you like that too. There's really no reason why you can't play both. A game like that, it kind of sucks because it's so much about, that continual grind and that progression.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you want to split your time or do you want to like stay in this one game?
Yeah.
But like fighting games, that shouldn't even exist. Like, I could play the latest Tekken that came out. I can play the last friggin' Blaze Blue, the last Guilty Gear, any of these other fighting games. And I don't really think I need to pour like 8 hours a day in it to get good.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I can play them. I can get enjoyment out of multiple games. It's a thing that can happen.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
I'm like, just because I like one doesn't mean everything else is bad.
I agree.
But And that's the saddest part, and that's why I think it's narrowed the. I don't know who the hell said fighting games were dead. I guess what was that, the late '90s, early
The
2000s?
fighting game community says it.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys play these games, and you know there were games coming out during Capcom's lull.
Yeah.
You know, they were only saying that because Capcom wasn't putting out a Street Fighter.
Mhm.
But I had pointed that out in comment sections.
Tekken never
I was
stopped.
like, Tekken never stopped. I was like, you had Blaze Blue, you had Guilty Gear, you had even Skullgirls, if you want to count that as a fighting game.
Oh, don't even forget all the other Arc Systems games. In Japan, Arc Systems made shit like Melty Blood, like Arcana Sphere, like all kinds, or no, Arcana Heart. That's what it was called.
Arcana Heart. Yeah,
there were games that were coming out during that time period.
Yeah, SNK never stopped. I mean, even when they got bought out by Playmore, they were still putting out games.
And then when I made that point, they were like, well, Capcom brought back the popularity of fighting games, and that's why the fighting games were dead. And I was like, but it can't be dead if people are still paying for these games.
Yeah.
That they're putting out sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's not mainstream, that doesn't mean shit. Like, mainstream still doesn't follow fighting games.
Exactly.
Do you know what's dead? Playing chess in a video game. That's dead. Battle chess is never coming back.
Yeah, I know.
All right, not never. Not on the PSN, not on the Xbox Live Arcade, not nowhere. That is dead. RTS is not dead.
Yeah.
Fighting games, not dead. First-person shooters will live for fucking ever.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, but there is no real popular genre of, no real, any of the bigger genres of games. I'm like, they're not dead. You just have less people making them now.
Exactly.
Fighting games wouldn't be dead if the people making the fighting games realized that they wouldn't do Call of Duty numbers.
Yeah.
When they sell them.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to be Call of Duty.
Yeah, I know which fighting games have never done those types of numbers. Capcom,
and I know
Capcom's never hit $1 billion with Street Fighter.
Because it's a niche market. Niche markets, you have to understand, if you're a niche market, you obviously are only going to appease the needs of that niche. And usually, if it's niche, it's small. It's not usually a huge thing. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe there are examples like Trekkies. There's a lot of fucking Trekkies. Or like Star Wars fans. But that's not a niche. Mm-hmm. Or would you still consider that a niche market?
No, I wouldn't.
It's not a niche because that's almost the majority, you know?
Yeah.
With fighting games, it's like you have people who strictly like fighting games. You have people who strictly like platformers. And like, we're talking platformers from like the 80s to the 90s. We're talking like people who strictly like action-adventure games, you know? People who like co-op action-adventure games. These are all niche markets, and someone needs to find that, you know, the balance and focus on that niche. You can't expect to blow away the competition and get, like, Naughty Dog is literally holding down one-player action-adventure games by themselves. They make the best one-player action-adventure games, period. They better than Metal Gear, better than all the other shit out there, even Capcom. The next, I would say, if people would give them a fucking chance, would be Ninja Theory. But no one gives Ninja Theory any props. They rarely ever even like acknowledge the good shit they do. Instead, they just diss it.
Yeah.
I hope Hellblade comes out.
What's up?
I hope Hellblade comes out because that was supposed to be out this year, and then they kind of quietly pushed it into next year.
I've seen there's more stuff about it though. There's more videos about it. I've seen a couple.
Oh, good.
Yeah, a couple months ago it was last month. I watched one that it was like the environments. It was showing off the environments in the game. I just wish they would show more gameplay and shit, you know. But you know,
that's what scares me.
Ninja Theory games always take a while though, because DMC they had been working on for a while before they ever showed anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they only showed quickly what they were doing because it's a Capcom game. And Capcom was probably like, show them or we're going to take this. We're going to take the licensing back.
Show them or we're going to give this to friggin' the guys who made Angry Birds or something.
Which that helped to Ninja Theory's benefit.
Yeah.
Because they really did need to change the look of Dante.
Yeah.
And it changed it for the better.
But I don't even think it was a dramatic change. I mean, he just doesn't look like fucking Twilight dude.
Well, he doesn't like like a meth addict before the fall. Before they're like in that they just started meth, so they're starting that downward spiral, but they're not faces of meth yet.
Well, that was just the picture of him in the lineup picture.
No, I'm talking about he looks beat up in that. I'm talking about that whole FMV where he was all skinny and he looked all super goth emo.
Yeah.
Like they looked like somebody took him aside and was like, "You need to eat, son." And they gave him like food.
They nourished his ass.
Yeah, you need to eat, you need to detox and get off those drugs. and then he was healthier and he looked a lot better. Now he looks like the Dante you got now.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Next picture was him in a cold shower, just like
shaking and crying and laying on the floor in the shower. Oh my god.
But yeah, you're right. I was just hoping, like I said, like most of the Ninja Theory stuff does come out. I just didn't want like that game to kind of like become vaporware.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like I remember a month ago they had said like, well, it was supposed to be out by, holiday 2016, but we're moving it into 2017. I'm like, all right, I would just like to see it.
A smart move.
Yeah, because for them, when they take their time, because Heavenly Sword was like that. They took their time with that shit, and the end result was fucking phenomenal. I know people want to diss it still, but yeah, fuck them. The shit actually was it was a good fucking game. It looked amazing. The fucking facial animation in that game is still unmatched. They still fucking people were. I had an argument with someone the other day about L.A. Noire, and they were like, "It's so great. L.A. Noire had better." I'm like, "You are fucking
good lip syncing,
smoking that alien crack."
Yeah, good lip syncing.
Yeah, the fucking game didn't look like people's eyes didn't move right. The fucking it's like you could tell that each thing was quadrants were being animated separately. And then the animation was being played together. So it still looked artificial. Whereas like fucking Ninja Theories, it was like real facial it was like real expressions. They just captured the real expression. And the shit looked good. I was surprised. Man, even the Final Fantasy 15, fucking pretty amazing facial animation. Like considering like people look like when they cry, they look like they're fucking crying. They don't look like aliens. Like you remember, like, in Tekken 2, when you pick a character and then they had, like, one movement? Mm-hmm. It was like, you press, like, start, you press a button on Kazuya, and then all his eyes just roll down at you. And it was, like, all slow, too. It looked real fake. Those days are done. Like, at least with Ninja Theory, those days are done. The shit looks really good now. Fucking, I'll give even Kojima Productions, or whatever they're called now, their facial animation, all the animation, the fucking fidelity of the figures, everything. It's fucking nuts. Hair looks like hair. Even the little stubbly hairs look like hair. Fucking people's eyes, you can see the wetness in the eye. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. But definitely Ninja Theory, they do the damn thing. Like, you actually get a performance. It's not like, your Call of Duties and your other games where you just have the face. And if it's the relaxed face, it really looks like the actor. But then if they do anything else, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is
like what's even the point of like going into like heavy detail on like their characters now anyway? All your characters do is just show up for about an hour. I'm sorry, the campaign isn't even an hour. They just show up for about 10 minutes and then get taken out.
Exactly.
And I'm supposed to give a shit. I'm like, you might as well put helmets on all of them. Like, it doesn't matter. Especially in a new game.
That's
just give everybody a space helmet.
Yeah, Call of Duty is the popcorn movie of video games.
Exactly. Not that playing the campaign isn't fun. Because I bought a ton of them, and I always play the campaign. It's always a friggin' fun-ass ride.
Yeah.
And then I'm done with it. Like, I never touched the multiplayer, and like since I haven't been playing since 2006, I'm not going to jump in now.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to the other point, if you want to, like the problem now again with the whole profitability thing is that again like whatever like I don't know who does fighting game sales projections anymore if that's even a thing. But if the projections are lower, then that should just adjust the budget you have to work for the game, not whether or not the game even gets made.
Yeah.
If you're like, all right, fine, we think this game is probably going to do like, whatever, like 7 million units and probably make us like whatever, however many $1 million. Like, okay, fine. Then don't spend $250 million trying to make it.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think they spend that much on fighting games these days anyway.
No, but that's the thing. I assume because the profit margin isn't that high, they just don't make them at all. I'm like, then just don't spend a lot of money.
Well, and you know it can be done because you see like independent projects where people make games on like really low budgets, and the shit will look amazing, and you're like, wow, why can't Capcom and all these other guys do this?
Yeah, like you look at some games on like downloadable networks or Steam or something, not the shit that's on Steam, but like some better games. And it's like, hey, 4 people made this game, and it's fucking great. And I'm like, wow, imagine if Capcom took 12 people and decided to have them make a game.
Yeah.
That could be awesome.
It's not going to happen, though.
No, after all this time, I don't think so.
They're going to keep having dimps make their games, and the games are going to be just derivative as fuck because that's what the fan base wants. That's what they recognize, and it's not getting any better. It's frustrating. But let's find a happy subject. Let's find a happier subject. But I don't know what else has been going on because it's been a while. I think it's been 2 months since we did one. So what kind of happy stuff has been going on that we can talk about? I haven't really been. Most of my time has been spent working. So like I've been picking things up and figures and stuff. And
putting them down.
I know, right? Just pick you up and put you down.
Like lift things up and put them down.
Everybody does it. I've been just collecting shit and like kind of talking about that stuff. But I haven't really been. I haven't watched a bunch of movies because work has been ridiculous. I just read a shitload of stuff online while I'm at work, and it's kind of how I know about some of the stuff that's going on. I haven't really been doing too much else. So
yeah, I mean, the other day we were talking about the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer.
Yeah, like really, I don't think it's that amazing.
Yeah, I wasn't as excited for that movie just based off the trailer as I was for Civil War. Like Civil War, that trailer had me like, yo, I'm definitely seeing this. This one, I was like, I like what I see, but I'm going to see it because I like Spider-Man. I think this is actually going to be they're going to, do the damn thing or whatever.
Yeah, as they always do.
But right? I wasn't hyped. And that's fine because I don't care about getting on the hype train. Because if a movie looks like shit, I'm not going to go see it.
Yeah.
And I already decided with this trailer, I'm not going to watch any more trailers. I've seen what all I need to see to know whether I'm going to watch this film or not. But overall, it just looked like it was Spider-Man. Good.
It's the umpteenth Spider-Man movie. Like that's the problem. It's like it's like what I was saying when we talk about Street Fighter or any of those other games that come out. Like, do people really get that excited? Like, do real regular people who have a life that's balanced or at least close to balanced really get excited when they say, "Hey, next year, it's another Street Fighter coming out"? Like, really? We had one the other year, like a year ago or this year or whatever. Why do we give a shit that another one's coming out? Like, of course they're going to make another one. The last one made money. Spider-Man is the same thing. Everybody, Dick Road or whatever you want to call it, they were all, Spider-Man was the best part of Civil War. No, he wasn't. He was like, okay. He wasn't meant to be the best thing in the movie. He was just meant to be a nice surprise to let you know that Marvel has the rights to the character. If that was the best part for you, then you missed a lot of good shit in that film.
Yeah, he was a nice addition, but no, I wouldn't call him the best part.
Because he wasn't the movie. It wasn't about Spider-Man. He was just one of the characters in it.
It's like, really? Giant Man? Nothing?
I know, right? Nothing else?
Nothing?
Like, that's just, it's sad. It's bandwagoning. It's just stupid. Like, limited ass scope. Like, you got to be able to see that, the movie had other things that should have been a big deal for you. Like Black Panther. Like, come on. This is like the 5th or 4th time Spider-Man's been on screen. 5th, 6th time we've seen Spider-Man in film. Black Panther, this is the first fucking time he's been on film, period. And they knocked it out of the park. More people were concerned with sucking Spider-Man's dick than pointing out that Black Panther, it's a big deal that Black Panther's even on screen. You know?
Getting your face full of webbing.
I know, right? Ah! Thwip, thwip, thwip. 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 Like, it's just weird, man. It's like, it shows you who's watching and what they have problems with, what bothers them. Like, while we were talking, I was on marvelousnews.com, and they have like an issue where Miles Morales is kissing Spider-Gwen. And everybody in the comments, a bunch of people like, where's the picture at? Someone had a complaint about the fact that she's in college and he's in high school or something. I was like, I don't think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure...
I thought she's in high school, too.
That's what I was going to say, because even in the cartoon...
No, in the comic, she's in high school.
Yeah.
They're both in high school.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, they got to be around the same age, so I don't know what people are complaining about.
No, he is being violated. He was assaulted.
I guarantee you they'd have no problem if it was 616 Peter Parker kissing teenage Gwen Stacy. Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. Nope. Not at all.
Because that's most of those dudes' fantasy anyway. is humping 15-year-old girls.
What the fuck? It all disappeared. I was literally just, like, I had it open somewhere else. Get the fuck out of here. All the comments are gone. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, you know, racists are going to be racist, man. That should be the new meme. Haters going to hate. Racists are going to be racist. Because that's the only reason why they have a problem with it.
Yeah. But yeah, like...
Yeah, that was my thinking, too. I'm like, wait, is it... Yeah, because of that? Really?
It's only okay when it's their fantasy, but when it's the rest of the world, it's a problem. But I was just like, it's weird to me how, like, some of this stuff is happening, and the people who react to it and how they react to it. It just is, it's like, it's comics. Enjoy it. That's what it's there for. I mean, like, when it's those ones that are trying to hit you with some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like politically fueled point. Okay, I get those. You can be mad at those and be frustrated because it's like real life. Like fucking the comics where the heroes were crying over 9/11. Instead of fucking crying about 9/11, you motherfuckers should have been doing something, and then it would be like, okay, there's no need for it.
I don't know how they should take that shit seriously.
That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't take it seriously. And then also, you shouldn't put the heroes in the situation that couldn't be stopped. Like, it could have otherwise have been stopped if there were superheroes, right?
Yeah.
So why would Spider-Man be in New York watching a plane flying to the towers? Or Tony Stark, or Thor, or any of them? Why would they just be like, oh, something's under the radar, it's moving closer to the fucking towers. Oh, fuck, it hit the towers. Like, what? Like, aren't you supposed to stop that kind of shit? So it was a dumb idea to make a comic about it. No one really complained about the fact that there were comics that had the heroes reacting to it because it happened in New York and they live there. Like, to me, that's poor taste. Complain about that. Instead, they want to complain about shit like Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen shouldn't even fucking exist. You know what I mean? Like, it should have been a one-off story. You're done. That's another dimension. We leave it alone. The novelty will remain there. But you know comics.
Well, fandom, too.
Well, the comics now have to let the fandom write the story. So, like, once they introduce something to you and it gets popular, of course we got to keep on giving it to you. So we're going to do all this bullshit, almost fan fiction-y feeling stuff that doesn't really feel like it would fit. But, you know, whatever. Somebody's got to like this stuff, you know?
I mean, I don't even know why they're so mad, because it seems like nothing ever lasts in comics. So
especially these days.
They'll have their fling. This will sell some books. And
then they'll retcon that shit.
Yeah, they'll either retcon it or they'll find. Yeah, they'll won't mention it again if it doesn't go over well with the populace. You know, instead of, it'd be cool if it like all the good comic book relationships.
They're all gone.
Well, not that they're all gone, but they all started off with a progression. They progressed. Like Lois and Superman. You know, they didn't just get together and start banging. You know, they had an actual relationship.
Get them sweet balls.
And then they got married, and then the relationship continued on from there, and that's why they're still together. You could have said the same thing about Peter Parker and Mary Jane if they hadn't done the Brand New Day, One More Day BS.
Ugh.
You know, theirs was a progression, and that's why that's why it's one of the most memorable relationships in
Cyclops
comics.
and motherfucking Jean. That's the best shit right there. And they fucked that shit up, too, because the fan base wanted to suck Bryan Singer's dick instead of paying attention to who those characters actually were. They just destroyed that relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
But even like,
uh-huh.
no, but now I guess because again, to go to the building, like the build towards something, it's like now it seems shit in Marvel and probably in DC too. It's like I said, they just have something happen, and then they spend the next couple months or a year or whatever explaining why it happened.
Yeah,
because apparently no one has any patience or an attention span. So, like, we're not going to build to this thing. We're just going to have the thing happen and then tell you why the thing happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with this
Like-
Spider-Man Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy thing, I actually thought they were going to put him and Miss Marvel together because they were friends. They were hanging out together.
Yeah, they were building towards that.
She would come over to his house to go on patrol, and then he'd be like, "Oh man, I'm grounded. My mom, they're getting on me about my grades," and she would be like, wisecracking and stuff. It looked like they were building towards something. So this shit, I mean, like I said, I doubt it'll last a year or two.
Is she in the Marvel 616 like
Who?
proper Spider-Gwen?
I think so.
How the
I think
fuck does
after
that
this, they had this huge. They're basically doing Clone Saga Part 2. They're just not calling it that.
So she was cloned.
No, she's not cloned. She's from an alternate reality, but she was with some of the other Spider people from the Spider-Verse, and I guess in this version, or in this reality, in the other realities, that Peter Parker of that universe ends up siding with the Jackal, and it pretty much brings about the end of the world or whatever.
Now the Jackal is a big thing?
I haven't read it. This is like I just catch bits and pieces of it, and I read a few articles.
I know, because you're the Marvel guy.
I wasn't interested in it because I was like, you guys already did the Clone Saga. Like it's not even the Jackal who's behind it. It's fucking Ben Reilly, the Ben Reilly that died, and you watched him die at the end of the Clone Saga. I still have all those issues, even though it was shitty. I collected them all when it was being done. Well, no, it was at that time. I wanted to find out how they were gonna finish this clusterfuck of a story.
Yeah.
So I kept reading them, and he dies at the very end of it.
Yeah, I remember.
And you watch it, you see the John Romita Jr. pictures. He's crumbling into dust. How the fuck can he come back from that? So when they revealed that, I was like, oh, I'm finished with this. Like, I'm not even gonna bother trying to read it because I was gonna wait till it was done, go back and read it all, finish it. But fuck this shit, man. It's comics. Like Marvel and DC, they just find new ways to just fuck shit up with their own continuity.
How did he come back from it? Mephisto.
I know, right? the cosmic cube.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just, oh my god, it's frustrating because these grown ass dudes are writing this shit, and you think they could write better than this.
And the fan base never says anything. Never. They only say something when it's racially or sexually charged.
Yeah, I mean,
you're fucking up my fantasy, picking it up.
Yeah, Civil War 2. People have been pretty vocal about how shitty that series is.
Civil War 2 didn't need to happen.
Yeah, it didn't. And it's weird that they're making Captain Marvel such a dislikable character, considering her movie's coming up pretty soon.
Well, because Iron Man's so popular, so they can't tarnish his reputation. But look, you've had 2 Civil Wars, and he's on the other side, both of them. How could anyone else be worse?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, stupid. So stupid. Shit hurts my feelings, man. That's why I can't get into it. Like, I'll say DC is doing a good job picking up the pieces from New 52 because a lot of the rebirth stories, it's like they're finding a way to, like, get them back on track to where they should be. Like Superman having, him and Lois having a kid and him training the kid, that's probably the best shit they're doing right now. With him taking the kid with him, and even though the kid's indestructible and the kid will be really, really, really powerful, and even for his age, he's powerful, they still write him like a little boy. They don't write him like an asshole kid like fucking Damien. Like, Damien's such an asshole. I'm surprised that he didn't just stay dead. You know what I mean? Like he's way worse of a character than Tim. What's his name was? Jason Todd was.
Yeah, he is.
He's such an asshole. He's such a fucking just a dick. There's like I mean, he gets the job done, and I get that. But like Batman's a big enough dick. But at some points in Batman's history, they've shown his heart. You know, he's more heart, and there's like it's almost like it's a front. He gives a shit about people. Damien doesn't give a shit about people. He's doing what he's doing because he was taught how to do it, and he wants to gain favor with his dad. And then sometimes he doesn't even give a shit. He doesn't care about gaining favor. It's all about making the other person look stupid. And it's frustrating to see that they like him enough to keep on utilizing him and keep on giving him opportunities. You know, like, fuck Damian Wayne. He's a lame ass character. Like, just imagine when they finally do decide to make him Batman.
Man, if I was Batman, I'd have taken off my utility belt and beat him with it. like in House of Flying Daggers, when Charlie the Fat slapped his kid so hard his hat flew off. I would have slapped him so hard, a fucking cow would have flew off my face. I hate Damien so much.
Me too. I hear people say, oh, he's hilarious because he's a dick. That's not hilarious. Like, it's funny the first few times, but the fact that, like, people have to deal with that shit, like, it fucks up the flow of things, you know? It's like when you watch Ninja Turtles and everybody hates Leonardo because he wants everyone else to fall in line. And then Raphael's like, I want to be the leader. Wah, wah, wah. Why do you get to make the decision? Shut the fuck up and fall in line so we don't die. You know what I mean? Like, try that. But yet everybody is like on his side. Or Wolverine in the X-Men films. Here's a happy family, a happy relationship. And he's like, nah, I want to fuck the redhead. So this guy's whack. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fuck the redhead. And everybody's like, yeah, he should fuck the redhead. What? Like, you're okay? Everybody's okay with a guy coming in and forcing his way into someone else's relationship?
That's what they want to do.
Like, no, but if it was done to them, we would have a whole different situation.
Of course, but nobody cares that Cyclops gets pissed off when Wolverine does that.
Yeah, and he's the dick. Cyclops is the dick because he wants to stand up for himself and his woman. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's just stupid. And let's not forget that in the comics, those two have never actually humped. They've shared kisses. Well, in Ultimates, the Ultimate X-Men, they humped. But in regular continuity, they've kissed. Both times they thought they were going to die. So it was kind of like, oh well, I'm going to die, so fuck it. I think Jean actually did die one of the two times. But, yeah, it's like, it just doesn't make sense. No one would say, yeah, invade my relationship. That's perfectly fine. Dude, go ahead and do this. That's not...
Because everybody loves the badass and nobody likes the leader.
But forget the fact that even in... And I love how in Ultimate X-Men, they show you how creepy the shit is. Wolverine is like, in any version, he's like 50 plus years older than she is. And he's literally pining over this young girl. And then, like, in Ultimate X-Men, like, when he's actually doing the deed, he knows Cyclops is watching, and he's looking back with this smile on his face, like, ha ha, I'm gonna give her the hairy dack. I'm gonna give it to her. And it's like, you see how smarmy this shit is, you know what I mean? Like, you literally see how jacked up it is. And still, people are all about that. And I'm like, why? It just doesn't make sense, you know? You weren't cool with Mephisto taking Mary Jane and Spider-Man's relationship, but you're cool with some asshole who happens to think he's so cool because he's got fucking claws. Even Family Guy showed you how lame that shit is. You're super happy about him invading someone else's relationship. In the movies, he wears the dude's clothes, stole his motorcycle, stole his car. It's like, what? Come on. Dude dies, and the first thing he does is try to hump his wife. Like, come on. Like, that's just grimy on a different level. And our comic book buying public is okay with that. It's just...
Should have blasted that motherfucker into orbit.
Yeah, you know? It doesn't make any sense, man. It's just like, ugh, God, what is wrong with you people? And I know when I post this, someone is going to argue for Wolverine's side of this equation, of that conflict. Someone's going to tell me I'm wrong because in real life, there's going to be some weird justification for why the hairy, I've done everything. I've been alive for 1 billion years. I'm like half evil, badass Jesus. Like, why he could be allowed to do this, but no one else should be able to do that to him, of course. It's just stupid. It's frustrating. It's like really, really, really stupid. None of these relationships get to last because the fan base doesn't understand relationships. It seems like that's what the bottom line must be.
Yeah, that's the saddest part.
Because none of the, like you said, I mean, like, I'm glad DC finally was like, Dan DiDio, your edict is stupid. Every superhero can't have Batman's fucking, origin where they just can't have a happy life. No, because some of them, that is the cornerstone of their character. Like, fucking Barry Allen has to have Iris West. She's his rock. Like, you can't really do an effective Flash and not have her be part of the story. So killing her off would be dumb. She got to be part of it. Characters like Wonder Woman, that all that tragedy, it's part of her life, but it's not her origin. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't lose her whole family and then decide to become Wonder Woman. That's not her. Who else? Shit, Green Lantern. That's not his story either, It just doesn't fit for a lot of characters, is pretty much what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Go ahead.
DC does find ways to fuck their shit up.
Oh, they do. They do. Just right now, they're doing a good job fixing it. But yeah, except for
Green Arrow, he's a werewolf now for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
What? When did that happen?
I don't know.
What?
I'm telling you. I know. My friend Brandon was telling me because he doesn't get it either, and he's mad because he likes Green Arrow. I just started
reading Green Arrow.
And he was like, I don't understand why they made him a werewolf or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Ah.
And Batman, I guess Bruce Wayne, when he was younger, I guess at some point after his parents died, he tried to commit suicide, and that's like why he wears the cowl. I don't really.
What?
It feels like they're. I mean, it's. Yeah, this is brand new. This is like
it has to be because I've been following. I didn't get to this yet.
Yeah, they just revealed this. I guess like this month or something like that, and it feels like the writer trying to add his
like a humanizing layer to the character.
No, and him trying to add his mark on the mythos and all that, like on the canon.
They gotta stop. Oh my god!
And that's what it doesn't sit right with me. I don't care if this had been an original part of his origin, because obviously if somebody lost their whole family, I think they'd be feeling really down in the dumps. But because they didn't write it in all the way back then, they're trying to do it now and justify it somehow. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, leave the origin alone.
Yeah, Jesus. If it had been originally part of the origin, then I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Cool.
God, what is wrong with people? And like, editorial never steps in and says, nah, just it already happened. Too much has already been done by Grant Morrison with Batman's origin and his family's, history and all that stuff with the crazy brother and the this and the that and the blah, blah, blah. Like, they should be like, origin, leave it alone. Move forward, tell a new story. But no one's doing that. And I know someone's going to argue with me about that too. Like, well, you can't tell people they have limits on their artistic, license or blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, everything shouldn't be primed to be rewritten. Like, especially with some of these characters that are like 80 years old. Like, go forward. Stop moving backwards.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where it works. Like,
if they had a weak origin.
Yeah, like Green Lantern Rebirth works because Green Lantern's original origin was kind of weak.
It was super weak. Plus, there's two Green Lantern origins because there were two different Green Lanterns back in the day. So, yeah. Ugh. God.
Yeah, if you were going to propose something like that to me,
it really sounds like you're splitting. You're getting lit.
If you were going to propose something like that to me, I'd have to make you explain exactly where this is going.
Yeah, like what's the point of all this?
Yeah, what is this doing for the character going forward that you can't do if you don't put it in there?
Yeah.
And like literally, like you pitch it, and I'm dead ass serious because you're right. If this has been the character's origin for friggin' decades, like why must this wrinkle now be added?
Yeah,
because Grant Morrison would do shit like this, and everybody wants to be Grant Morrison. Everybody wants to be a rock star writer and have their little piece. Like, instead of doing something logical that comes now, and that's what you're known for, everybody wants to go back and put something in there that everyone else that comes after will kind of have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
But then they don't acknowledge the fact that most writers are not acknowledging the new shit that people put in because they're trying to make their own new shit to add to the. This is why I don't really read the shit. Like,
yeah,
I can't.
I mean, the way it was written and everything, that's the crappy thing is this. It's actually kind of interesting. Like, it's a big part of why he wears the cape and cowl. It's not just to put fear into his enemies, but it was also a metaphor for death and the kind of death he was trying to take with it. Way he was trying to take his life or whatever.
What did he do to try and commit suicide?
Oh, he was going to slit his wrist.
What does that have to do with a fucking mask?
I guess it's in some way it represents death.
This is that emo fucking hipster bullshit that doesn't even. How the hell do you go from slitting wrists to wearing a mask? Like, and it's not like
because
he's wearing.
Some of it squirted up in his face.
I could be saying
so
it wrong because I only read it once and I was at.
Said?
What?
He said he wears the mask because some of the blood's.
Oh.
That's so wrong, man. Oh, so wrong. Wow.
No, and I could be saying this wrong, and if there's anybody in the comment section actually,
they will. And
you can correct me. That's fine.
They will.
But it still is kind of like, yeah, this is unnecessary. Like, I feel like, okay, you mentioned this in this issue, but what does this have to do with the overarching arc of the story?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, okay, you mentioned it here, and then the next issue you're gonna move on to something else because obviously Batman himself has moved past all this.
Yeah, like, why did it need to come out now?
Yeah.
And then, like, it'd be different if he wore like a fucking cloak, like a death hood and cloak. Then I'd be like, okay, I kind of get that, like a black hood or something. He wears a bat-themed mask. Bats, no, like the correlate. I don't know. Sorry. Shit frustrates me, man.
Suicide is dark, and bats are.
They're dark stuff, you know. People like dark stuff, you know. So yeah. God, why?
I don't know.
Why?
I mean, they had a whole squad about that stuff too.
I know, right? God, it's just getting so cliche, you know. Like, and you hear people throw these terms around a lot, you know. Oh, it'd be cliche if the guy was a badass and he walks away from the explosion, or he could beat 50 guys in a room. But every year they add one of those cliches or a couple of them to Batman, and it's fine. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Batman's the best." He's not a cliche. Like, he's not on paper. He's not invincible, but like, he never really is. We never fear for Batman's life because he's invincible. We know this. Like, that's how they write Batman. But all the fan base will say, "Nah, he's cool." Superman is boring because on paper it's listed, nigh invulnerability. That's one of his things. But yeah, that's to shit here on Earth. As soon as we leave Earth, it's fair game. You know what I mean? Like, he's fighting guys that could pummel him to death. They've done it billions of times. Like, anytime he goes to Warworld, there's guys who physically can beat Superman's ass. I'm not saying he doesn't eventually figure out how to win.
Yeah.
But he's getting his ass beat up. He's getting knocked out and shit. Like, by guys from other planets who have similar strength levels. So, like, who... I don't know. Fuck it. Sorry. This is my problem with comics. That's why with our shit, we're writing it more... Ours is a little bit more lighthearted. I mean, there's serious stuff that happens, but we're writing it more like it's fun. It's broad. It's not like we're trying to be so super serious, you know? So-and-so took his life once when he was a child, so he decided to adapt the moniker of death itself because it's dark and you like dark stuff. Like, really? Like, that's it? It's just, why?
Oh, so I guess I shouldn't send that part to you then.
I'll send that shit back. I'll do like Angry Joe, like, no. Oh my God. I don't understand who today's audience for comics, like the mainstream books, who are they that all this shit that's clearly not that inventive, it does it for them. And then they turn around and say that, like, the 90s was so lame when it's the exact same thought process. It's just being given to you presented to you by different people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff, like we're seeing a huge amount of crossovers, and they're kind of meaningless. That was the 90s. We had tons of crossovers, you know? We did an episode about that shit, you know? You have dark characters. The 90s was all about dark characters, especially from Image. And then everybody else was trying to do it too. Then you had meaningless deaths of characters. That shit happened all the time in the 90s, and it's happening all the time right now. You're having stupid revamps of characters to try to make them more quote-unquote edgy, and the shit didn't work back then. Why do you think it's going to work now? You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything that didn't work back then, they're doing it now. Only because it's done now, it must be better. According to, you know...
Yeah, I have no idea why Marvel brought back Solo. I was like, you guys
if terror lives, where I live, terror dies. Oh my God!
You leave that character back
That's awesome. What do you mean?
He was in whatever box he was in.
You remember? I swear, the only thing I ever liked Solo in was that Revenge of the Sinister six-part Spider-Man issue that Eric Larson did, where he just would teleport into the panel. Like shit was going on before and after, and he'd just show up, kill a few guys, and then disappear. Shit was awesome. Oh my God! Solo, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was that serious. He's got his own series too. I'm like, why? You know this is only gonna last like 8 issues, and they're gonna cancel the shit.
He's gonna become the next Deadpool. Like I always
like
if
that
Solo.
happens, if that fucking happens, I will be done with comics.
If that happens, I will start reading comics more often.
Oh no!
If that shit happens, I will make another channel dedicated to Solo specifically. Because now it would be like the circle is complete. Because fucking like Deadpool, when he first came out, he wasn't really that big of a character. And then all of a sudden, people are like, he's so big and so awesome. So many people like him, but don't buy his comics, that they were able to make a film. Could you imagine if they make a Solo movie? Like literally that, like Moon Knight didn't get a movie yet.
I don't want to see that.
And then they make Solo? Like if they do that shit, that would be amazing. Oh my God. And not in an ironic kind of way, even though it is kind of ironic. It still would be...
That Mario Van Peebles like cameo in that shit.
Oh my God, like I would literally...
Solo's like mentor or some shit. I was the first one.
I know, right? That would be awesome. Yeah, I would be amazed. I promise. If he becomes super popular, because now you can be a gun-toting, murdering maniac, and the comics can get as graphic as they want because there's no comics code anymore. They could go nuts with Solo, and because you think about it, a lot of what Deadpool does now, it's Solo. The teleporter, the crazy arsenal. Obviously, he has an arsenal. It's just Solo didn't make jokes. He had like no personality. He was like, I'm just going to kill all of you because you're all terrorists. Like everybody was a terrorist to him. Wow, Solo. Like you really just blew my mind today. Holy shit.
Yeah, they did. They also brought back Slapstick.
Yeah, I read about
that.
He's
with, I think, Deadpool and
of course
Mercs for Money or whatever that book is called.
Mercs for Money.
I don't think that's the title. I can't remember what the title is.
No, it's probably close to that, though, because
that.
That's all you need for Deadpool. You need some like kind of lame joke and just run with it forever, and everybody laughs and continues to laugh.
As opposed to those mercs that work for free.
Yeah, I know, right? Wow, fucking Solo, man. Are you kidding me? I was in like 7th grade. We were in 7th grade when Solo was still showing up in comics.
Yeah, I picked the first, I want to say the first Amazing Spider-Man comic I picked up. Solo was guest starred in it.
Good God. We were in like 6th or 7th grade, something like that. Because I remember, because that book got taken away and I had to buy it again like, a couple times. The teacher took that shit. Miss Sachs took that shit. You remember Miss Sachs? She was our... Oh wait, no, you didn't go to Leonard Vmore, right?
No, you were at I
was in Leonard Vmore when you were in the Catholic school, Roselle Catholic.
No, Wilday.
Right? Oh, you were at Wilday. You were at Grace Wilday. I forgot. Yeah, our social study teacher, like I had just got the last 2 parts of the 6-part series, and I was like reading it under the desk, during class and shit. She walked by, and she had like big hips, so she would always like push her desk out the way as she walked by. But she just stopped by my desk, like, and for a while I wasn't really paying attention because I'm reading the book, and you could feel her staring, and she just snatched those books up, threw them in that bottom drawer, like the drawer of holding, that all of the shit she took from all the years of having kids. That shit was gone. I never got it back. I think I rebought it when I was in college.
That sucks.
I was so pissed. I had to rebuy all those issues when I moved to college. But I'm surprised I was able to find them, too, because that was like 91 or 92, something like that. God,
yeah,
that was a
had to
long
be around
time.
then.
It was a long time ago. Holy shit. But Solo, man. Holy shit. Shit, we should end on that note. Good. That's like a...
I thought you were talking about happy shit right now.
I'm happy because it's so weird that they took such a obscure character, but we've seen this guy a decent amount to know like his shtick and everything, and they're trying to like bring this motherfucker. They have to be trying to capitalize on the fact that some of his shtick is just like Deadpool without the jokes. Did they give him a personality or something?
Oh, I didn't read the book. Oh. I didn't read that. I saw it at the comic book store, and I was like, "Man, really?" And I just kept it moving.
Oh my god, I have to look this shit up. Oh, I have to look that shit up. His name is James Bourne. Are you kidding me?
No way.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
No way.
Oh my god. No, you fucking kidding me.
Has it always been that?
So bad.
I don't know. Oh my god.
And it's spelled the same too.
Yeah, James Bourne. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, how old are the Bourne books?
I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, fuck. I cannot believe this shit.
Damn, if they made a movie, made him like the superhero version of Jason Bourne, fuck, man, I might watch that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, shit.
Because, like, this is proof, like what I just finished saying about, like, the 90s. They're just repackaging the 90s. And all these, like, young comic book readers, these new comic book readers think they got some cool new shit. And it's all the shit we were reading when we were kids. Like, tropes and everything. Like, wow. That's fucking amazing.
Oh, how was he that fast?
He was somewhat enhanced. I can't remember.
I never knew he was.
Yeah, because they talk about it in that Spider-Man book. Like, if you look find it if you can.
I have to dig through my books.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sinister Six. God, that's crazy. I'm actually amazed. Good job, Agent O. Good job. I thought I'd seen it all. Wow. News stories, related links. Good. I got to see this because what the fuck? So did you hear like so many people on the Deadpool's Deadpool 2? Everybody's leaving. So like Ryan Reynolds must have fucked up royally.
Who else is leaving besides?
So Junkie XL is leaving.
Yeah, I did read that.
So it's like wow. So not even the music. The music is not even going to be the same. Like what the fuck? You know? I don't know.
That's sad to hear.
It is.
Did they say why he was leaving? Because I just saw
because Tim Miller. It's because of Tim. Tim Miller was the inspiration. And because he left, he's like, I can't do it if he's not there.
Damn.
So he just left. Wow, I don't see Solo anywhere. What the fuck? I need to know about this Solo series. I really do.
It's probably on Comic Vine.
Yeah, just because it's funny.
Damn.
James Bourne. That is amazing. Like that. Wow.
So bad.
Oh Lord. I mean, it's actually kind of good because back then we didn't know who James Bourne was, and now he's been in 99 issues. Terrorism's greatest enemy. I thought it was G.I. Joe. Come on, dude.
As long as he lives,
terror dies. That's just as bad as wherever evil rears its ugly head, I will jump up and slap it down. That is amazing. Mark Silvestri made him up. Holy shit. James Bourne, that was his name. god, that is fucking amazing. I cannot believe that. Yeah, that's nuts. And he was in Civil War? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. That must have been one of those side issues or whatever.
You're right, Mercs for money. He works for Deadpool. Come on. How does that make sense?
Deadpool, for some reason, now he has because comics, he has a shit ton of money. I think he finances one of the X-Men teams.
How the fuck does that make any sense? Whatever. This is why I don't read some of this shit. It's just pretty stupid. Wow. Solo. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Like, this is fucking nuts. Wow. What is going on here?
I don't know. It looks like, his arm, it looks like Deadpool's hand is broken at the wrist.
He's shooting is he about to shoot the name of the book? Like,
I don't know.
Oy.
It's...
Oh my god, I'm so happy right now. This is just funny. This is like funny on a different level. Like, wow. Solo. You know, like of all the... how come Bushman doesn't have his own series now? Like, may as well give Bushman his own series.
Hell, fucking bring back Cardiac at
about
this
to
point.
say, yeah, Cardiac. Jerry Curl and all, man. Like, bring that shit back. Wow. Or my boy Sleepwalker. Give me a Sleepwalker book, god damn it. He was actually an interesting character. A weird-ass design, too. Good God.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of back when he was on that team. While Captain Marvel was still Ms. Marvel, she had this team. It was like her, what's his name? The Robot Man. Robert Stack or something Stack.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Stack, Robert Stack, something like that. Machine Man and Sleepwalker. And I think there was like maybe one or two other characters that were kind of like lower tier.
Mm-hmm.
But she had this team that she worked with them, and her team and S.H.I.E.L.D. worked together on shit. I think it was like in her own comic. And then she became Captain Marvel, and they just kind of like dashed all that shit.
Of course.
Or like maybe some big event happened and all that shit got dashed. I can't remember.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, so now Spider-Man has a company. Deadpool has a company. Tony Stark is...
But Spider-Man should have had a company. As smart as he is, it's, I mean, even though now he's like Diet Tony Stark.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not even varying the way that characters, like the progression for some of these characters. Like, just because you're smart doesn't mean you have to have a whole. You could have sold your invention.
He should have had something.
You know, like he could have more money than what he had.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have a whole corporation behind him. That's not the only thing people with high intelligence do.
Yeah. I mean, like, but they kept doing the whole downtrodden
apparently
thing. like they kept having him like be like a substitute teacher at like Midtown High and shit like that. And I'm like, dude, you're smarter than that.
Yeah. But I mean, realistically, and that's the edge that Spider-Man always had over a lot of the other books, is that the real world, there's people who are way more talented than the guys that are doing the shit professionally, and they never get seen. Like, when in Jersey, when we used to go to the arcades, there were way better guys playing Street Fighter and X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom, like, that played only in the arcade, that will never go to EVO, than the guys playing at EVO. You know what I mean? Like, there was guys, like, when I was in Indiana, there was a dude who, this is how I got good at X-Men versus Street Fighter. He used to destroy us. And when I say us, I mean everyone else that came into that fucking arcade. He'd be on there from when I got to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he'd be leaving at 11 o'clock at night when they closed the fucking arcade. I don't know how he had the money. He probably sold drugs, maybe. But this was his thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know how. Maybe he had an inheritance.
He couldn't have been selling drugs if he was in the arcade.
I know, right?
Unless people are coming there to buy the drugs.
It's possible. Or maybe he had an inheritance or something like that, or he just had it like that, or a sugar mama, who knows? But he was in there like it was his job, and no one could get him off the stick. He picked the side, and he stayed there all fucking day for like the 4 years I was in Indiana, or 3 years we were in Indiana. I was like, holy shit, like I never saw anyone come close to beating him. Never. I got good, and I could hold my own, and I still couldn't beat him. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And outside of him, I haven't really lost to anybody in X-Men versus Street Fighter. Maybe the other ones, but not X-Men versus Street Fighter. Like, I beat everybody at CCAD that wanted to play that game. Everybody. I was like, oh, you want to play? People were telling me I was cheating. I'm like, why? Because I know this inside and out, and you don't? Sorry. But yeah, like there's
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, not really sorry, but it was fun playing you. But some people like they're better. They're way like martial artists. I've known pretty awesome martial artists that just they do it for fun. They don't do it so that people know how awesome they are. So Peter Parker could have been one of those guys where if things were different, which is why we had the multiverse and you had the story where in the one reality he built that big ass company and fucked up time. They even used some of that in the
cartoon.
They used it in the cartoon and they used it in the game Shattered Dimensions. Remember? There's one reality where Peter Parker is he's like Reed Richards essentially in that dimension, and he did experiments that fucked up the space-time continuum. I love how individuals can just do that. It is comics though, so you know. But
it's a very tenuous thing, you know.
Like one day you just find that door, like, oh shit, space-time continuum. Start moving shit around. Like, oh, it's weird. But yeah, like he could have still been written as the guy who, like, his luck is that he spends his whole life helping other people, and maybe some of those people achieve these big things, but this is his lot in life. And his victories could be small, like personal victories could be small, like marrying Mary Jane and her being like the shit, you know, because he literally married a model. Yeah. And like in the old days, her career was like on the up and up. I mean, they always retcon and rewrite and step them back a couple, you know, like notches. But like maybe that would have been, I don't know, to me that would have been more interesting because, you know, then he has plenty of time to be Spider-Man. His struggles are more relatable. I don't know how people love to say that, but that's relatable. Doing your best at a job and the people don't like you, so they, you know, you don't get to keep the job. Like that shit happens to a lot of people, you know? Or you being more passionate about something else, but you work a job that you're clearly overqualified for. Like Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I don't know. Maybe there's some bigger, I don't think there is, but maybe there's some grand scheme to all this shit, and we'll see it eventually. Man. But I don't know. You guys got anything else? Because we're running up on the 2-hour plus mark. So any other business? Or I gotta say to the Van Dam, any other business? It was so funny when he beat that dude's ass in Street Fighter when the guy tried to stab him at the table. Like, yeah, you're really a good assassin. You jumped up on the table and tried to stab a dude.
He didn't know who he was dealing with.
I know, he's as American as apple pie. Anyway.
As you, Colonel.
I know.
Colonel.
Man, we should do a fucking commentary on that movie. Fucking Street Fighter. That would be amazing. Colonel, a single vessel against everything he's got. The pilot would have to be completely out of his mind. I'm like, wow, you paid that guy to say that. You paid him. No one actually sat down with him and said, that sounds like a robot. That sounds like text-to-speech synthesizer with fucking periods in between every single word in the sentence. Like, nobody said, like, dude, you really sound weird, man. Like, I know English is your second language, but damn, like, we can teach you how to do this better. Nobody did it. Not even Van Damme.
No, because it's a video game movie, so, you know, they're not taking it serious.
Yeah. I know, right? He said, luckily, Bison has driven me out of my mind.
I think everybody was high during that movie. Out of my mind.
Why?
Everybody was high during that movie.
I know, right?
Wildman was getting high. Van Damme was showing
her Thailand. Good night, everybody. Like, we can't top that. We have to stop that. We've been doing you guys an injustice if we continue. Oh, that shit, man. We got to find that and link that game to this fucking podcast. the Van Damme, what is it called? My Thailand? I think that's what the game is called.
Oh yeah.
My Thailand.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. I swear that just makes that movie so much better for me. Because I went through all the stages with that movie. When it came out when we were kids, I was pissed. I was like, this is terrible. This is horrible. Then I got older and I watched it one day on TBS or something, or TNT or something like that. And then I was like, this movie is a comedy. Like, I totally see it now. It's not supposed to be an action movie that has comedy in it. It's a fucking comedy. And you can tell because, like, no one important really dies. Everything happens.
Yeah.
It's all cartoony. Like him faking his death and then Chun-Li being like, oh, scared as she creeps. She even creeped through the fucking morgue like Scooby-Doo and shit with her.
Oh, wow, I forgot about
with
that.
her hands up, and she was wearing a ninja suit and stuff. I'm like, this is a cartoon. This is a fucking cartoon. It was comedy because Street Fighter's plot makes no sense. And at the time, it didn't make sense. Like, what was going on? Why were they fighting? Like, each person had a reason, but what was the big overarching thing going on in Street Fighter in the 90s? Nothing.
There's something with Bison. I have no idea.
Bison was bad. That was it.
Yeah, like I have no idea.
He's bad. He's really
and
bad.
like Guile wanted to kill him.
Yep.
That was it. Oh yeah, Guile and Charlie.
I know the
that was it.
animated film had a better plot
Exactly.
than the game.
And they added that shit in themselves
Yeah.
with Bison needing a replacement. Yeah, when I realized it was a comedy, I'm like, holy shit, this movie is amazing because then everything works completely. Like Bison, his controller on his little flying chair was an arcade controller. Like what? It was like the stick and everything. The Street Fighter cabinet controller. The scene with when Chun-Li explains that she set bombs in all the tents. And she's going to blow them all sky high. And Zangief is like, quick, change the channel. And they all look at him like, you motherfucker. Like, are you serious? Like, all the jokes, like...
Or when Zangief and Ihata were fighting, like Godzilla.
The Godzilla sound.
Yeah.
And they're smashing the fucking replica or the workup of Bisonopolis. Like, the whole thing is just so absurd. Even Raul Julia's performance. Like, it's one of the best... batshit insane villains you probably will ever see on television or in a movie ever because he didn't give a fuck. He knew the guy was crazy and he went all the way. I'm like, wow. I mean, by the end of the movie, he's quoting fucking like the Bible. Like, what the hell? He's quoting the Book of Revelation while he's trying to kill Guile. I'm like, yeah, he lost it. This guy is gone completely.
But one time going full retard does work.
Yeah, like completely gone. And, like, even Bison today has embraced a little bit of that character because, like, what else are you going to do with him? Like, he had no personality in the game. Just had a big grin when Super came out. Remember? Because before Super, it was just a kind of Filipino-looking dude.
Yeah, that grimace.
That big face. He didn't really have his...
frown.
Yeah, he's frowning, big-ass lips and stuff. And then, like, when Super Street Fighter came out, they kind of gave him a little bit of a smirk. By the time Alpha came out, the movie had been out, and he had the full... Mac Tonight grin and shit with the big ass chin and stuff, and it was over.
Yeah.
It's done. Fucking, I think the Street Fighter cartoon helped because that shit was awful, but Bison was hilarious.
I know.
Fucking yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like Street Fighter.
For you, the day Bison came to your town was the worst day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday.
Shit was amazing, man. I swear. Like, they, somewhere in there, they made better use of those characters in a comedic setting than anywhere else. Anyone else has done anything funny with Street Fighter. It works. I don't know. We need to do that. That would be fun. That'd probably be more fun than doing the Transformers ones.
Oh, and hopefully we won't lose it like the Batman one we did.
Oh, God, man. No, because I know what to do next time. Next time we can watch it over here, and I won't turn it up as loud, and we'll stay closer to the computer.
All right.
Or we can watch it with the subtitles on or something. You know what I mean? So that way we don't have any sound. What happened was the program has if you try to upload a video into the software, it's protected. So because even if you get some of the audio or something, it'll just not go forward.
I wonder if we can record it off of a VLC player. Because, I mean, you can't record
Yeah, I've done that before. That's what I did with Kamen Rider Ichigo, and then fucking YouTube took it down, or Toei said they took it down. I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't put the whole movie in there. I mean, it was a review, so I talked about almost the whole thing, but I didn't show every scene. A lot of scenes, I took one freeze frame from like part of it, but it was enough for them to tell YouTube to take it off. So
you were allowed 4 freeze frames.
I know, apparently. And my video was longer than the movie. So it was like, come on, guys. Like, clearly I'm not just uploading your movie. But the shit's funny. I'm going to re-upload it on, like, Dailymotion or something. Because the shit is funny. There's some scenes in there where you're just like, what were you guys thinking? Like, there's a scene where they're at the arcade playing some taiko drum game. And when you see fucking Ichigo's face, he's, like, in the background. And the girl is hitting the drums. And you see him off in the corner with this cheese smile, like hitting these maracas. Like, I'm like, what is going on in this? This shit is so weird. And I like zoomed in so that you could see his face. He looks so content, and he doesn't have any idea that this shit is looking real creepy right now. I mean, there's a lot of shit like that. There's a shot at the end of the movie where he like cradles the chick's face, and then she holds his hand. And then before he leaves, the camera follows his hand down to his crotch.
What?
I was like, wait, who directed this? Why do they keep doing these like innuendo type things? Like there's another scene where the chick says...
Is she putting his hand down there?
So she's standing in front of him. He puts his hand up and like touches her face. She holds his hand. And then when she puts his hand down, the camera just goes womp right to his crotch. I was like, are you trying to tell us that he got a hard on because he touched the little... And she's like young. Like she's clearly the daughter in the situation, you know? So, and it's mostly played off like that, but there's a lot of scenes where you see them.
Maybe that POV, maybe there's a POV and it was her face going down there.
Her eyes were traveling down.
Yeah.
Oh man, she wants some cyborg cack. Like, wow. It's just weird, man. There's a lot of questionable things in the movie. Like, there's a scene where the Ghost and Spectre, they're like they get their asses whooped, and then they're like they run to go find Ichigo, and then they find him walking down the street with her on his arm. And if anybody else, if you came across them together, you'd think this is a couple. This isn't a father-daughter type deal, you know? So it looks real like incestuous almost, even though they're not blood. It's the dude who made the Kamen Rider bikes is kind of been the mentor for the first 10 or 7. It's like the early riders, most of them, he was alive during their time as riders, and he built their bikes. So he would always offer like insight and like, advice on whatever they were going through. So he's kind of been a father figure to like the founding first Kamen Riders. Before he passed away, I guess he had a daughter, and he asked Ichigo to watch the daughter. This is the crux of the whole plot of the movie. And Ichigo he promised he'd watch her until she was old enough to take care of herself. And then he left. And he literally moved to Thailand. It all comes full circle. But he left, and she was pissed that he left, because I guess he just didn't say why he was leaving. He just disappeared. So then you find out that there's other shit going on with her, and shocker, and then Ichigo comes back, and it's a big, long, kind of overly dramatic story, but it's fun to see this old man in his 70s kick the shit out of bad guys. Meanwhile, the young, pretty Kamen Riders that look like runway models can't do shit with their dancing and singing belts that do all kinds of shit. You're like, why do the belts have to be so obnoxious now? Like, fucking Ghost turns on his belt. It's like, go, go, go. It's Ghost. It's Ghost. Ghost. Go, go, Ghost. And then when you click it and close it, it says something else. I'm like, why does it have to be? Like, how is this serious? Like, a moment something will happen and it's dramatic. Then he starts up his belt and it starts singing a fucking kid song. And you're like, you just killed all the tension in this scene with this dumbass belt. Like, who finds this shit? I don't know. I say that, and then there's a whole like fucking plethora of people that they buy these belts and they take all this shit seriously. So I don't know. In my review, it was a lot of moments I got to make fun of shit. So I'm gonna put it up on Dailymotion because they're not as hardcore as YouTube is, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I won't even be able to put it up there. Who knows? Because sometimes they're funny like that. But yeah, it's funny. So maybe one day we'll just watch it so you can see. We'll watch the movie so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, that's all I got. That's all I got. We killed it with the that last part. Oh fuck. So that it?
Yeah, I got nothing else really.
I guess so.
No, if you got something, we got to give him something. No, I'm just kidding. Because I hope this is substantial considering we've been away for a little while. But yeah, that's it for me. That's all I got. That's it for us, I guess. You've been great. So we will catch you guys on the next episode. I think next time we'll have a little bit more. Well, I don't know. Do we need something more like a specific topic? We don't really need a specific topic. It is off our brains, so it's the whole point of this shit, just for us to.
Unless you want to do 2016 in review or preview or something like that.
God, it's gonna be kind of weird. Because 2016 was kind of there's a lot of down notes, a lot of like womp womps. Like
2016, John Oliver put it best. Fuck you, 2016.
Yeah, man. So much.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking death and so much fucking like bad decisions.
Yeah,
so much.
Donald Trump is man of the year. It should be death. Death should be person of the year because Death came through.
Yeah, man.
And was working overtime in this year.
Yeah, it's true. Good God. But you can always.
I don't know. So the only thing I would say, I don't know, since it's already been 2.5 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what we decided as far as next gen systems. What are we really feeling? Because I don't know. There's like a handful of stuff out there that's being made. I'm interested in, but I guess by now it's enough to where I justified spending like $200-300. But like, I don't know, man. Ultimately, I'm still not seeing a lot of reason to jump in.
Yeah.
Or even like why these games that are coming out on the new systems couldn't have come out on the older ones.
I agree.
It's like I'm not all about VR and motion control and all that bullshit.
That's fucking gimmick.
Yeah, it's not gonna last long either. I mean, remember?
And at $400 fucking dollars.
Yeah, fuck that. You remember the fucking Kinect and all that shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like no one.
Yeah, that's the saddest part. It's like just a redo of all that. Yeah. It's like, okay, fine, we're getting the motion controls again. I'm like, you did them with the last system and gave a shit for like a year.
Then you realize no one was buying that shit. I don't know how many Xboxes or 360s that we had that did not have. They returned the Kinect right after they bought the system, because you remember there was a point where the Kinect was bundled with it, and everybody would come back and return. How much can I get for this? Sorry, $10. Everybody was returning it, and they didn't care. I just don't want it. I don't plan on using it. And after seeing some of the reviews for those games, because I've never played anything on the Kinect, but seeing the reviews for some of those games, I'm like, yeah, that was a piece of shit. Sorry to all you guys that put in the time and the effort to make that shit like doable. But yeah, no. Nope.
If you're adding something that ultimately doesn't make playing the game any easier than me sitting with a controller in my hand,
it doesn't always work. It just doesn't always work. I don't know why people don't see it. They need to stop with gimmicks and just make better games. Plain and simple.
I do like watching some of the videos of like people playing those VR games and fucking up. Like,
yeah. This
guy was trying to play like VR pool. And you see him like leaning, like he's actually, because I guess he plays pool in real life. So he's like leaning over the table in the video game. And you just see his ass just kind of keel over hit the floor. Yeah, it's just and you see in the game simulates all that movement too. What? So you see the hands like do what he's doing, and it looks like he fell on the floor in the video game.
Oh no!
Or like the old man was like he was shooting like all these zombies that were coming out of the dark, and then he ran out of bullets. And he just starts swatting at them, and you see him like swatting towards. He's like walking towards the window, and he's swatting, and his like son or whoever has to run up and like grab him and shit and get him out of the way. So like some of those shits, like that shit's entertaining, but the games themselves just don't feel like anything I would want to invest all that money and time into playing.
I know you pay $400 for the system. You buy one game and it's not quality, and then you never buy anything else.
Yeah.
You've already wasted all that money. It's like it would
Exactly.
the price of the system alone would force you to buy tons of games, and if any of them fall short, you're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, your only result is to use the headset for VR porn or something, because none of the games are going to be worth playing.
There's already VR porn?
Yeah, there's VR porn.
What the fuck?
They pioneered that shit. Like that's what they were on the war against HD DVD because of the porn industry.
Oh, wow, I forgot.
The porn industry backed Blu-rays, and that became the standard. Like,
wow.
a lot of tech, a lot of visual tech, sometimes it starts off in porn, and since porn makes so much goddamn money.
Really? I never even... Wow. Well, God, I'm learning all kinds of stuff today. Fucking Solo came back. VR porn. Wow. I probably won't mess with it because fucking both 3D and VR give me headaches. So I'm going to have to stick to the old school, to the regular stuff. the old-fashioned research. Yeah, that's too much, man. Like, hey, more power to people who can deal with that shit. It just hurts my head, like behind my eyes. It's like real annoying. Like when we saw Clash of the Titans, I think it was the remake. We saw that in 3D, did we? It was like post-converted.
Yeah.
Shit hurt my head so much. I was like, God. I mean, and the movie wasn't great to begin with, but like effects-wise, it's like I don't know. It just gave me headaches. Same thing with
Did you get headaches when we saw Doctor Strange?
A little bit. I kept taking the glasses off. I would like pull the glasses up and watch it like kind of without it, and it wasn't too bad. I found like I can watch when they're like real 3D.
Yeah.
I can watch them without the glasses, and it doesn't hurt my eyes. When it's whatever the other kind of 3D is, I don't know what that type is called. The glasses don't look like the ones that we had last time. They look a little bit cheaper, and that shit always hurts my eyes. That's what Clash of the Titans was. It wasn't the real 3D. It was the paper 3D glasses that you throw out you throw them all out at the end, but it was the cheap ass, ones. But yeah, man, fucking.
They did.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said they just throw them in the bin and like spray them with Lysol. And then just
I know, right? Start all over.
You pick them back up again.
But yeah, I guess that's it for me, man. Like, yeah, I'm glad we learned all these things. Oh my God, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, we're gonna look forward to some Solo stuff.
Exactly. There's our 2017 preview.
I know, right?
Solo.
There you go. I still can't believe that shit. Like, wow. They said, okay, who are all the guys in Marvel Comics that run around with guns? Well, we already had him team up with Cable, and we already killed off Frank Castle with Dakin and then brought him back in his own series as if none of that shit happened. So, yeah, there's Solo, and they were like, that's exactly what we need. Solo.
It's like, you're a genius. Wait, what's his name? Bourne? Amazing.
I know, right? James Bourne? Wow.
Could Fox put him in a movie? Because he first appeared in Spider-Man, right?
I think so. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
God, I keep finding ways to start back up
conversation.
I know. Let me see. First appearance is... yeah, Web of Spider-Man.
Damn, so he's technically a Fox character.
That's crazy. That is crazy, but that's it for us. You've been great. Yeah. Good night, everybody.